In this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the rabbit hole that is the Mr. Beast saga, from the Ava Chris Tyson situation, to Lunchley, to the failures of Dogpack 404 and Rosanna Pansino as the voices for the victims. Mr. Beast is the most subscribed channel and company in the entire world, with his fan base being large enough to cover the entire United States and repopulate it. He is a well-known philanthropist and self-recycling charity network, making large amounts of money and giving it away to large amounts of the populace, only to make it all again from the very giveaway videos he films. He has broken many world records and has continued to reach communities far and wide with his work. However, for the past few years, Mr. Beast and his crew members have been rolling in massive amounts of controversy, ranging from grooming and predatory behavior to hosting shows that put hundreds in danger. On the contrary, the main people who are spearheading these conversations seem to be reminiscent of Mama Max and Bo Blacks, going so far as to post content without proper research, gaslight and deflect from their detractors, and to falsely report allegations to the FBI. In the past week, I have hosted a 4-part stream, going over the entirety of the current Mr. Beast pipeline, and I have decided to give you guys the knowledge of what I currently understand, as well as the proper confirmed allegations that we've been made aware of. And if I have any sort of mistake after all of this is said and done, I will read in the comments, take the video down to update, and re-upload. But considering I spent an entire week trying to piece together this puzzle as fairly as possible, I hope it won't come to that. Hi, I'm Kyrie, a Gormagala VTuber, a reaction channel, not a journalist, and the fan of the commentary community, and I want to try and paint a nuanced and fair perspective of a company I hate while also giving proper criticism. Why am I doing this? Because the people who are given the insider info keep messing it up for everyone involved, and I want people to stop poisoning the well. Now, before we get into this, I have to post a major warning. This video is going to be talking about everything. SA, people obtaining potential CSAM, child manipulation, DV, fraud, mass injury, and many, many more. Let's begin. To start off, and to educate people if they've been living under a rock, Mr. Beast is a company run by Jimmy Donaldson, a man from Greenville, North Carolina. He's currently 26, but has been making YouTube videos since he was in middle school, starting off with the Mr. Beast 6000 channel, which featured mainly gaming content. Swoop, a journalist and a commentary YouTuber, discussed at length about how he came to be. Jimmy's best friend, known as Christopher Tyson at the time, was his very first subscriber and would often help Mr. Beast with his work as his YouTube career grew larger and larger and he became known as solely Mr. Beast. This continued to occur even as Chris would attend college. As the numbers kept rising, so did Jimmy's passion for the game, resulting in him spending 5 whole years locking himself away to study the YouTube algorithm and every single viral hit he could find. This led to the kinds of videos that he makes today, with catchy thumbnails, eye-catching games, frequent switch-ups during videos, and many, many more. As time went on, Jimmy had to fully set up a crew and production team, and this is where things began to rise for Jimmy's career, but ultimately push him into some deep waters for the company. This is why these things need to be addressed. Now we'll go on to Ava Tyson. Swoop goes on to mention that in March 2022, fans started to notice a change in Christopher, from painting nails to splitting up with his wife in March 2023, to having an entirely different appearance during the $1 versus $500,000 plane ticket video. There was definitely a development occurring. Hey there, Future Kyrie here. I just want to make a small correction. In the tweets, it says over a year now, Ava and Katie have been separated, so thus the announcement was made in March 2023, but it was an official action sometime in 2022, okay? Split in 2022, announced it in March 2023. Just want to make that clear. Alrighty, sound good? Alright, back to the video. And in March 2023, he had confirmed that he had transitioned and had been taking HRT. Originally, the name was changed from Christopher to Chris with a K, and they went by any pronouns. However, on July 2023, on Anthony Padilla's interview talk show, she came out as Ava Chris Tyson and began using she/her pronouns. During this time, the fan base was in a massively transphobic uproar, and personally, transphobia is not what we need to be discussing here. We do not need to be using our anger to hate on the trans community, but rather other things about Ava that you could direct that anger towards. In July 2024, an old video of Ava Tyson resurfaced and Drama Alert posted it onto his Twitter to cover it. In the video, Tyson speaks about obtaining revenge NSFW material of Jeanette McCurdy, which was posted by her ex-boyfriend. While it is stated that Tyson does not condone the interaction with these pictures, they're still promoted in the description of the original video.
How's it going, you guys? So, recently everybody's been hearing about the Jeanette McCurdy leak of her photo. What the story is, she sent pictures to her boyfriend, her now ex-boyfriend, and he leaked them out, and she is a very popular Nickelodeon star on the show iCarly, and probably be seen as the pulling of the show. It'll probably be taken off the air. Second off, you'll probably see the photos get taken down at some point tonight, maybe tomorrow, because Nickelodeon has that kind of power. But the link's in the description if you want to see them. I mean, I'm not endorsing people to go look at somebody else's private business, but I know that people might want to see them, so it's there if you want it. First off, what I have to say though is that when you look on the news, you see people, they've leaked nudes from their girlfriend at a high school, and that girl kills herself. It's a tragic story. Everybody calls the guy a bully. But when people like Perez Hilton do it, it's considered entertainment. So you're gonna have to think about where the right and wrong is, really. And I think it's all wrong, personally. I don't think somebody should leak photos that were sent in trust. But I guess if that's how President Hilton wants to make his living, it's up to him. You decide. You decide if it's moral or if it's immoral. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.
For anyone not aware, obtaining revenge porn is a crime in 48 states, Washington, D.C., and Guam. Thus, Tyson is not only putting herself, but everyone else in danger, as well as committing a major crime. But this would not be the only problem Ava would face, as her behavior clearly shows what kind of person she is. In July 2024, also, conservative journalist and YouTuber Prism42 posted a video discussing a conversation on 4chan about Ava Tyson talking inappropriately with minors on Discord. However, Prism, in his infinite wisdom, decided that since he couldn't get this story out to major news sources, not only did he send the links directly to Ava's ex-wife by finding her home address and lied to one of the minors affected about a job interview to get information about Ava, but he recruited the known predator EDP-445 to spread the message. This has damaged Prism's credibility more than any other prior harmful behavior he has done, in my opinion, and we'll see a recurring pattern with people being unhinged in this case later on. Prism's statement turned out to be true as the leaks surfaced on the Twitter, with even some of Ava's prior tweets being screenshotted to show just how long the history was of predatory behavior. Hi, Future Kyrie here again. Since I started editing this video, more stuff has come out from certain journalists of video recordings of Discord chats where Chris is saying some pretty inappropriate shit on the Discord in real time. So those are going to be here. I'm not going to really censor anything. I'll just provide the source. It's Twitter. So, viewer discretion advised as this shit gets pretty explicit.
I know, dude, I was inside of that egg and then watch her eat it and then watch her with another man while she comments about how my genitalia can never satisfy her. I hope he gets cancer in the mouth.
Okay. I gotta say, that is one of the not good places.
I hope he goes his entire life not smoking a single cigarette, and then when he gets 80, he just gets with some dude with some cancer and he shoves it in his mouth and gets mouth cancer.
Yeah.
That's
Cancer
hot.
mouth from cancer dick.
Keep in mind, this is only a fraction of everything that's out there, and a lot of stuff is actively being deleted and then re-uploaded and then deleted again. So whatever I have here for you is what I was able to find, but keep that in mind. Alrighty, back to the video. The main interactions were between Ava Tyson and Lava GS, and this was a set of interactions that dated far back as 2018, which would put Lava at 14 at the time. Now, Lava does not want to be labeled a victim to this day. They don't feel that they were groomed, so I won't call them a victim. They don't seem to have any trauma there, and are actively defending Ava. Trauma works differently for everyone. However, regardless, I want to point out that Ava did send inappropriate messages to minors in this NSFW Discord, including Lava, and Jimmy himself even commented from time to time. In this instance, he spoke in this Discord about Ava's eggplant size, according to the Rolling Stone. He subsequently left the Discord in February 2020, as he wasn't that active to begin with. Another victim, Nathan Wayman, was a moderator on the aforementioned server and made several videos discussing what actually went on in this Discord, further solidifying that Ava was a very active communicator with minors. He also mentioned that they were suggested to be paid for moderation on the Discord.
Chris Tyson from Mr. Beast used me and manipulated me and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. I was actually friends with Lava GS at the time, who is the main victim of Chris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for Mr. Beast Gaming for 2 years, and he tried to get me to join Mr. Beast Gaming himself, Lava. He's the one who actually sent me the contract and tried to get me to sign the NDA, at which point I ended our friendship because I knew they were just trying to silence me. Me and him were both initially involved in running Chris's Discord server, helping him set up his Twitch streams and moderating them.
Nate's calling me. Hey, what's up? You're on stream.
You just leave your address, please, on your stream. As well as other technical back-end things that he needed help with. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there, other than me and Lava. He won a giveaway, and Chris invited him after that, and Chris invited me after I saw one of his tweets asking for help setting up a Gary'smod server for the 10 million subscriber Mr. Beast video. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Chris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds, especially with him being like, I don't know, 20, 21 years old. He would even go as far as linking me several different porn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. Not only that, but he had an NSFW bot in his Discord server before he made it public, so when it was just a private server, his little circle of minors, and he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images, alongside all these 15-year-olds. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time. You have to think this is someone who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes. But looking back, I was definitely uncomfortable at being called daddy by a 20-year-old, and even just thinking about it now, it's just uncomfortable. This server later went public and became his official Discord server, but before it did, he had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors. This story is so much bigger and runs so much deeper than any of you really realize, so if you want to hear more and you want a part 2, let me know. I was definitely uncomfortable at being called daddy by a 20-year-old, and even just thinking about it now, it's just uncomfortable. This server later went public and became his official Discord server, but before it did, he had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors. This story is so much bigger and runs so much deeper than any of you really realize, so if you want to hear more and you want a part 2, let me know.
He mentions that he didn't think much of it back then because he thought it to just be edgy jokes, but with time comes experience. He also mentions that when this Discord was converted to a work Discord, Ava had him and Lava scrub the entire Discord server in 2019. Lava originally didn't remember this had happened, but when the leaks came out, he did verify the leaks were true. Lastly, Jess, or Muskina on Twitter, was a trans woman who came out about being SA'd by Ava Tyson. They met as adults, and in November 2022, started talking. Ava saw Jess's transition timelines and confided in her about her own HRT journey before she ever went public. They eventually talked about Jess joining Mr. Beast, and Ava said she could get her into a video. However, this led to multiple video chats on Discord which Ava had pushed for, as well as pressuring Jess into self-pleasuring with her on occasion. Ava eventually flew Jess out to Greenville, North Carolina for a week in April 2023 on the premise of a job opportunity. However, Ava had other plans and pushed for Jess to perform bedroom activities in order to get the job. This was never reciprocated. Jess discovered through way of the Mr. Beast crew that not only did Ava not have the power to give Jess a job, but no one even knew about Jess wanting a job in the first place. After Jess flew home, Ava wanted to hire Jess as a personal assistant and offered housing. A vicious repeat cycle of the first engagement began, with Ava repeatedly wanting bedroom favors but claiming she never wanted anything physical over the course of the next year. She would gaslight, leave, and come back to Jess multiple times. Jess eventually left and immediately was replaced, but prior to her leaving, it prompted her to speak with HR about the whole thing and to do what she could to get someone to address these workplace violations. A class action lawsuit is in the works, but it is yet to be seen if it will be followed through. Now let's discuss Shadman for a moment. If you weren't a Flash gamer or a Newground head, you probably don't know much about him. Shadman was a Creole-Swedish art YouTuber who is well known for his not safe for work art. The only problem was he blurred the lines. I mean, really blurred them. To the point that people found out he was drawing anime COD points of real children. Let's dig deeper into this. According to Wikitubia, Shadman launched his website Shadbase in 2009 and his Newgrounds account in 2010. Also, according to Wikitubia, Shadman was originally attending an art school in Zurich, Switzerland, before being removed for having highly illegal media in his portfolio. This prompted him to make said Newgrounds account for freelance art. He also served in the army for a time, which is a requirement in Switzerland. He later moved to Canada and then to Los Angeles to live in nations with stronger freedoms of speech. However, he was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon in 2016, which only furthered his shady behavior. His YouTube consisted of him drawing thinly veiled or censored lewd art of various characters, as well as something related to the goth and metal scene from time to time. In 2019, he would stop uploading YouTube videos altogether. Why are we talking about him? He's tied into this. Many people defended Shadman's offensive and downright inappropriate art, as they believed it was offensive on purpose. The only person I could find consistently going after Shadman was Keemstar. However, it was soon discovered that not only was Shadman drawing underage children as Shmentai characters, but he was drawing very specific, very real people. When Trump won his election, he drew Keemstar's 7-year-old daughter and only took it down because, quote, he respected Keemstar. In addition to Keem's daughter, he drew Daphne Keene, or Laura X23 from Logan, in sexually charged situations. She was also a minor at the time. The reason he's tied up with the Ava Tyson situation, however, is because not only would Ava converse with Shadman on a regular basis, but she purchased a print of one of his works, and it was in the Mr. Beast crew living room in one of their videos. Whether this was just merch or a commission is still unknown and has yet to be addressed. Ava, on a live stream, also accidentally opened up Shadbase as well, showing that this was not just a one-off occurrence. Now, on July 23rd, 2024, Ava went on to make a very vague blanket statement apology, stating, I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. I want to add, I never groomed anyone. The person who gets brought up in these accusations has vocally supported that they are false. Having said that, I humbly apologize to anyone I have hurt with my unacceptable social media posts, past actions, and to those who may feel betrayed by how I used to act online. To lump these two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extended beyond bad edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. In past years, I have learned that my old humor is not acceptable. I cannot change who I was, but I can continue to work on myself. I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people who work at Mr. Beast, which is why I have stepped away. And it feels like your classic whoopsie YouTuber apology, to be fairly honest. Regardless, Mr. Beast not only removed Ava from the Mr. Beast team, but did an internal investigation, and on November 1st, 2024, Mr. Beast posted a response to said investigation. A 3-month investigation into allegations regarding my company has concluded. The law firm investigators reviewed millions of documents and messages and conducted 39 interviews. I was asked to refrain from making public statements to enable a detailed and unbiased investigation. Below are their conclusions. The investigation produced the following significant findings. Allegations of sexual misconduct between company employees and minors are without basis. The allegations were soundly rejected, including by alleged victims. Allegations of the company knowingly employing individuals with proclivities or histories towards illegal or questionable legal conduct are similarly without basis. Here, too, the allegations were uniformly rejected. Several isolated instances of workplace harassment and misconduct were identified during the investigation. The company was informed of such conduct and took swift and appropriate actions to address the incidents, including, where necessary, disciplining or letting go of implicated individuals. I feel that internal investigations with major YouTubers don't personally go anywhere, and I feel that there is too much evidence to back up that Ava did in fact participate in certified lover boy behavior. Now that that's concluded, let's go on to the Beast Games. In September 2024, Rolling Stone journalist Stephen A. Sark wrote an article on the Beast Games, an Amazon show being recorded and filmed by Mr. Beast. Now, the original premise was that there were supposed to be 1,000 contestants competing for a $5 million prize in the preliminary YouTube competition prior to the channel. That's not exactly how it went down. Not only were there double the contestants, but ASARK describes how it went down. Quote, in Las Vegas, contestants reported having their medication withheld, being injured, and sleeping on stadium floors, with many saying they were speaking out in hopes that the production would improve. But according to 6 crew members who worked in Toronto, as well as several contestants, conditions on the reality show's productions were dangerous. Internal documents, NDAs, call sheets, and set photos obtained by the Rolling Stone from crew members who worked on the Toronto leg of the event describe a potentially unsafe working environment that was disorganized, wild, and staffed with a crew with little experience on a project of this scale. But Beast Games has no precedent. It's a Firefest kind of feeling, one crew member who worked in Toronto and left production early says. There's a reason why this level of production hasn't been attempted before, and it certainly should have never been attempted without people who know what they're doing. When the competition was first announced in March 2024, hordes of Mr. Beast fans, as well as those unaware of who he was, applied online. The application featured questions meant to test people's personalities like, quote, are you willing to be buried alive? And, quote, are you more of a hero or a villain? According to Vital Vegas, the Vegas round also looked for challenge testers, guinea pigs who tried the challenge before the contestants, offering them $150 cash for roughly 8 hours and a free meal. The Beast Games, as well as Amazon, are also facing a class action lawsuit from 5 different competitors, as shown by Larix on his second channel.
Mr. Beast and Amazon are being sued by contestants on his upcoming Beast Games show. Failed to pay minimum wages and overtime, failed to prevent sexual harassment. Participants weren't provided uninterrupted meal breaks and rest breaks. Several contestants ended up hospitalized, and others reported suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to chronic mistreatment, degradation, and for the female contestants, hostile working conditions. As one of the female plaintiffs, I wanted to join because I was a fan of Mr. Beast and his videos made me smile during the pandemic. I expected to be challenged, but I didn't think I would be treated like nothing, less than nothing. And as one of the women, I can say it absolutely felt like a hostile environment for us. We honestly could have not been respected less as people, much less employees if they tried. And here's the whole 50-page documents of Mr. Beast and Amazon being sued. This is the biggest advancement in the whole Mr. Beast controversy that we've seen in this situation so far. This is bad. On top of this, you got other journalists confirming that at the end of filming on September 11th, a 6-foot by 6-foot piece of the tower at the Beast Games fell on a crew member. Emergency services were called, and they were brought to the hospital where they still remain. You got even CNN reporting on this on the front page of their websites. And I went through the whole 50-page court documents, got out all the relevant information to know what they're being sued for. It sounds like that there's 13 counts of misconduct and illegal behavior that they're trying to get Amazon and Mr. Beast for, these 5 contestants who are coming out. And to read off a little bit of this article before we get into the court documents and give it a full explanation there. This gives some context. So 5 contestants competing on Mr. Beast's hosted reality competition show have filed proposed class action lawsuit against the YouTube star production company and Amazon, claiming they were denied pay, forced to participate in unsafe conditions, and subjected to a culture of misogyny and sexism. The lawsuit was filed Monday in Los Angeles court by participants of the Amazon Prime Video show called Beast Games, which was announced in March. It features over 1,000 contestants, $5 million prize, and many other world records. The creator, Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, said at the time. The 54-page document describes allegations of players being subjected to unreasonable, unsafe, and unlawful employment conditions that led to several contestants being hospitalized. Plaintiffs said that they were fed sporadically and sparsely and not given adequate access to hygienic products or medical care. Sexual harassment was also alleged, but many specific examples of the claims were redacted in the documents. Yeah, that's something you're going to notice. A lot of the details are blacked out for whatever reason, just not consumable to the public yet. Apparently CNN reached out to Mr. Beast and Amazon, and they both declined to comment on the matter, which obviously makes sense though, since they're currently getting sued. But now taking a look at this document, I'm going to put chapters in for all of the little sections to see the relevant information on what is being alleged here, what are these 5 contestants saying, what is their testimony, how do they describe their experience here, and the first relevant details on the first page to show what this class action complaint is for. So there's 14 things here, starting off with 1, failure to pay minimum wages, 2, liquidated damages for failure to pay minimum wages, 3, failure to pay overtime, 4, sexual harassment, 5, failure to prevent harassment, 6, negligent infliction of emotional distress, 7, failure to provide uninterrupted meal breaks, 8, failure to provide uninterrupted rest breaks, 9, failure to pay wages promptly upon termination, 10, failure to provide accurate and itemized wage statements, 11, failure to identify for employee expenses and losses in discharging duties, 12, unfair business practices, 13, false advertising, and 14, declaratory relief. And then in the table of contents, it outlines the broad points that they're trying to make about Mr. Beast here. Facts: the contestants engaged in what appeared to be a thorough application and vetting process for Beast Games. B, the contestant agreements that the contestants entered into with production defendants included blank. C, the contestants were employees under California law, but defendants intentionally misclarified them to defendants' economic advantage. This means that Mr. Beast was trying to label these contestants as not actual employees when they were promised to get paid and compensated for their work, their actions that they're doing here. The one important detail that stuck out to me when reading this is that these people weren't just contestants, they were already promised money for their work here, so they're employees with the chance of earning some more prize money, but already on the face of it, they are promised money. The contestants were not volunteers, the contestants were promised and received compensation in exchange for their services. The contestants had no autonomy. Defendants exercised complete control. That one's a little bit weird there, but the contestants performed work that was in the usual course and scope of defendants' businesses. The contestants are not customarily engaged in an independently established business of the same nature as the work performed for defendants. D, defendants misclarified the contestants blank to avoid their employment obligations under California law and to wrongfully receive unearned tax credits from Nevada. E, defendants required the contestants to sign an unconscionable agreement with illegal and unenforceable terms. F, defendants failed to provide a safe and a healthful place of employment to the particular and collective detriment of the female contestants who suffered sexual harassment. 1. Purported How to Succeed in Mr. Beast Production Handbook states that it's okay for the boys to be childish, and if talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them. Really do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. Help them be idiots. 2. Helping the boys make content apparently translated to a lot of stuff is blanked out here. I don't know why that would be blanked out. Maybe it's something to do with a specific person's experience they don't want public yet or something. Beast Games created hostile conditions where women were forced to endure the severe embarrassment and unfair disadvantage of blank. G, defendants made multiple false statements to the contestants in connection with Beast Games prior to the start of the competition. 1, defendants falsely advertised that the competition would have 1,000 contestants blank, and this cut the odds of winning blank of what was originally advertised. 2, defendants misrepresented that blank. H, the Beast Games production was so void of standards of reasonable care that Mr. Beast, trademark, allegedly offered to cover the contestants' therapy. Next is the causes of action, the 13 counts they're trying to get them on. The next relevant part was on page 3, saying defendants further relied on the misclarification as a false justification to avoid payment employment taxes and to spare the production costs of implementing various employment protections required under California law, as well as getting away with apparently not paying minimum wage. It says including minimum wages, overtime, mandatory meal and rest breaks, workers' compensation and benefits, itemized wage statements, and timely payment of wages and reimbursements, among other things. 10, defendants then subjected the contestants to unreasonable, unsafe, and unlawful employment conditions on blank. Defendants began the Beast Games by blank, where the contestants were held under strict control and surveillance for days on end. A lot is blanked here. 11, during the Beast Games engagement, the on-set production staff maintained the strictest control over contestants blank, denied them of all privacy and access to the outside world. The contestants were fed sporadically and sparsely. They were not given adequate access to hygienic products or medical care. The New York Times reported that over a dozen people who participated in the first installment of Beast Games said they had not received adequate food or medical care, and that some competitors had suffered injuries from the physical challenges. The female contestants particularly and collectively suffered as a result of the defendants' actions. The Beast Games work environment systematically fostered a culture of misogyny and sexism, where production staff staff did nothing, while a lot is blanked here. Female contestants were also denied blank. Defendants callously dismissed blank. Defendants have improperly denied or delayed the contestants' overdue wages, penalties, and or reimbursements, showing that they can go on and pay back these employees for what they're owed. Skipping to page 7, though, they outlined their argument for how these contestants were not just volunteers, but instead paid employees. 1. The contestants were not volunteers. The contestants were promised and received compensation in exchange for their services. The contestants were promised and received compensation in exchange for their blank on the Beast Games production. Defendants compensated the contestants throughout the course of the Beast Games production with both in-kind compensation as well as cash compensation, with defendants promising blank to every contestant that blank. Next, on page 9, section 2 here, they go on to make this argument that the contestants had no autonomy. The contestants had no autonomy. Defendants exercised complete control. Defendants exercised total control over the manner, means, and timing of the work performed by the contestants by controlling essentially every aspect of their lives during the production of the show. This included, but is not limited to, 1. Requiring blank, 2. Controlling blank, 3. Controlling blank, 4. Controlling blank, 5. Preventing them blank, 6. Controlling blank, and 7. Directing blank. Defendants failed to provide a safe and healthful place of employment to the particular and collective detriment of the female contestants who suffered sexual harassment. So this is detailing the sexual harassment side of things. Production defendants also failed to provide a safe and healthful place to work in violation of Labor Code Section 6300, including but is not limited to sections whatever, and as well as Government Code whatever. Production defendants created working conditions that jeopardize the safety of workers, including by not providing sufficient food or drink, taking away their access to blank, not having adequate medical staff on site, and not providing reasonable medical care, forcing them not to sleep, and forcing them to participate in games that unreasonably risked physical and mental injury. Production defendants additionally created a toxic and hostile work environment for, in particular, the female contestants who suffered blank, as well as sexual harassment throughout the production. As more fully detailed below, which was not only noticed but allowed and even blank by the production defendants. I assume this is means, I don't want to speculate too hard, but potentially engaged in. That's what's being blanked out here, because not only was it noticed but allowed and even engaged in by the production defendants. And people are right here up ahead it says who suffered blank. This has to get blanked out, but they will mention sexual harassment. Maybe this is sexual assault. And apparently this was allowed because of marching orders from the top. Jesus. Helping the boys make content apparently translated to blank. The apparent Mr. Beast ethos of helping the boys be idiots seemed to pave the way for production staff to allow blank. On information and belief blank, contestants 4 and 5's experience, as further detailed below, corroborate these reports. While the production staff initially stated blank, contestant 4 and 5's experience, as further detailed below, corroborate these reports. Upon information and belief, production defendants knew or should have known about this behavior. Additionally, defendants knew or should have known blank because it's in their own employment handbook, as detailed above laid the groundwork for this collective sexual harassment and sexual harassment against female employees. Contestants 4 and 5 witnessed, so it goes on to show some kind of witness testimony of something going on. By refusing to intervene blank, production defendants created, permitted to exist, and fostered a culture and pattern and practice of sexual harassment, including in the form of a hostile work environment where blank. 3. Beast Games created hostile conditions where women were forced to endure the severe embarrassment and unfair disadvantage of blank. Defendants appeared to take no steps during the course of the production to address blank. At all relevant times on information and belief, defendants management up to and including senior management and ownership had actual and or constructive notice that the violence and sexual harassment detailed herein was occurring within the workplace. So it's showing that people even knew at the top that this was happening. This next section goes to talk about the false advertisement and false statements and claims that were being made about this Beast Games, which it goes a little bit to talk about 1,000 contestants would be competing for a $5 million prize, but apparently if you won, it wouldn't actually be a $5 million prize, but instead it would be a lower amount of money and cut into little shares. Some people are saying that they felt misled about their odds of winning here, but the more important section that I saw was that the defendants misrepresented that reasonable meal needs would be met. The Beast Games production represented in the Beast Games rules packet that the blank will be provided by defendants. Defendants failed to mention, however, that these blank, if they could be called that, would be infrequently provided and insufficient in the number of calories in each meal, where plaintiffs allege by way of example blank. So yeah, it sounds like they're just not feeding them nearly enough food on what is necessary to engage and participate in these games. Indeed, according to local news reports, they go on to talk about how many people were going into the hospital for dehydration and lack of food. There's a section about how Mr. Beast allegedly offered to cover the contestants' therapy, where they're citing Rosanna's YouTube video as a source here, which is a little bit weird, so I'm not going to go over that part. But this section now details the 5 contestants' individual testimonies and experiences. So, contestant 1 was employed by defendants in blank. Defendants arranged and paid for contestants blank during their services for defendants. Defendants also arranged for, a lot is cut out here, contestant 1 understood that they would be compensated by defendants for their services. Defendants took more than 30 days after contestant 1's conclusion of services to pay contestant 1 the promised payment. Contestant 2 was employed by defendants in blank. Defendants arranged, a lot is cut out here, Jesus. Contestant 2 understood that they would be compensated by defendants for their services, while defendants blank to date, they have not reimbursed contestant 2 for blank. As of the date of filing of this complaint, contestant 2 still has not received the compensation promised by defendants and services. So it sounds like, for at least what I could see, the 2 contestants so far have problems with not being reimbursed on time with contestant 1, and with contestant 2 it sounds like they haven't been reimbursed at all, or at least not the compensation that was promised to them. Contestant 3 was employed by defendants in blank. Defendants arranged, all that is cut out. Contestant 3 understood that they would be compensated by defendants for their services. While defendants promised blank, to date they have not reimbursed contestant 3 either. Another situation with money and reimbursements. Contestant 4, a female, was employed by defendants blank. Defendants arranged, all cut out. Contestant 4 remained stuck blank for multiple days blank. Contestant 4 understood that they would be compensated by defendants for their services. As of this date of filing this complaint, contestant 4 has still not received the compensation promised by defendants for their services. So on top of the reimbursement thing too with contestant 4, sounds like there's something being referred to as being stuck for multiple days in a specific situation. Contestant 5, a female, was employed by defendants blank. Defendants arranged, all that is cut out. Contestant 4 understood that they would be compensated by defendants for their services. That's weird. I think they meant to say 5. A little bit of a typo here. But as of the date of filing this complaint, contestant 5 still has not received blank in compensation promised by defendants for their services blank. So then lastly, they finish this off by showing the class action general allegations, saying what specific code and law this goes against and shows how this behavior is illegal and what it violates. So they go over the 13 counts that we read earlier that they're trying to get Mr. Beast and Amazon on. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. That is a summary of all the relevant and important information that you need to know about the court documents regarding to Mr. Beast.
The employee handbook was mentioned, and I was able to access it in my part 1 stream going over this massive rabbit hole and read through it, reading out loud some parts I found significant. The video was edited in post to clear out dead air. Here we are. Alright, I will be reading this whole thing, but I'm only reading certain parts out loud, and I am a speed reader, so just give me a sec. On top of that, I want nothing in here to be taken literally. I need you to repeat this in your head 3 times. I will apply everything I read with a grain of salt. Pardon the bluntness, but this is not Hollywood, and I do not want it to be Hollywood. We aren't here to make a small movie once or twice a year. I want to make one a week. Produce content our way, not the way you were taught before. The amount of hours you work is irrelevant. Before you get mad, recall the story about James solving a problem in 30 minutes a team of 5 couldn't in a week. In that example, does it really matter how many hours they worked? Yes, they're an employee. Unless you're paying them commission, they have to have hours. Obviously, we want grinders that put in the hours, and we'll love you guys to death that do. But at the end of the day, you will be judged on results, not hours. Get shit done and move the goalposts. Alright. I spent 5 years of my life locked in a room studying virality on YouTube. What the fuck? Okay. 30,000 hours of just watching YouTube videos just so you can go viral. Click-through rate, average view duration, and average view percentage. The ketchup one is easy. I spent 50 hours in my front yard is lame and you wouldn't click it, but you would hypothetically click, I spent 50 hours in ketchup. Both are relatively similar in time and effort, but the ketchup one is easily 100 times more viral. Titles are equally as important for getting someone to click. A simple way to up that CTR even more would be to title it I Survived instead of I Spent. The more extreme, the better. I don't like bananas won't perform the same as bananas are the worst food on earth. You must know the title and thumbnails of the videos you're making. I mean, yeah. That part I can agree with. I didn't match the expectations of clickbait. Bro, don't be clickbaity about it. Just be honest. Be more genuine so your clicks and views are genuine. Another way to look at this is it's a segment that only Mr. Beast can do this. Lastly, we have what we call back half content. I have to be careful writing this because I don't want you to ever for a second think I'm okay with content being subpar. Okay. Eventually, the difficulties of the videos will outgrow you if you're not growing. Every single day you must check in on Tyler, for example, and make sure he is still on track to hit the target date. Want less excuses in this company. Don't give your project a chance to fail. Check in daily. Leave no room for error. It's your fault. Track the contractor. I know I already talked about this, but there's one thing I really love to impose on you from all this writing is that you can't just dump and forget your projects. You can't stand when people dump and forget their project on a contractor and then the day before the shoot blame them when it's not ready. No excuses. Stop leaving room for error. Check in daily. Receive videos and know weeks in advance if you're fucked, not days. I am not always right. Yeah, we know. I have to be the main talent for every gaming video, every React video, every philanthropy video, every TikTok, Insta post, and every main challenge video. I have to work with each channel to make sure the creatives are always evolving and not getting stale. In other words, you have to monitor everything. Without what you're working on, we do not have a video. Protect it at all costs, check on it 10 times a day, obsess over it and make a backup. If it requires shipping, pay someone to pick it up and drive it. Don't just trust standard shipping, and speak up the second anything goes wrong. The literal second. Always have a backup date. No one will ever have a 100% success rating when it comes to filming our videos on time and on a budget. Okay, but you still want people to not get sleep and to constantly be working on multiple videos at a time. Uh-huh. We read these. Rosanna read these. Consultants are literally cheat codes. Need to make the world's largest slice of cake. Start off by calling the person who made the previous world's largest slice of cake. Spent almost a decade of my life hyper-obsessing over YouTube. Repeat this 3 times in your head. I will always check for consultants when I'm assigned a task. You're making it sound like you're a teacher. And not a good one. One out of 10 good, 10 out of 10 bad. Spectacles are videos only the Mr. Beast channel can do. Not every video should be a spectacle, and we realize these videos are hard, but that's the point. Me simple, the simpler, me like simple, the simpler the better. Uh-huh. If something goes wrong on shoot, always check to see if it can be made into content. A tree fall over and your car and breaks 100 bases we need to give away? That's fucking hilarious, and we should mention it in the video. So, if somebody is in danger, and you can make it into content, do it. Wow. Okay. Okay, Jimmy. Just like me, they don't know what they don't know, and you can't just say, I'm in production, I'm not very creative, because that's literally the equivalent of saying, I suck at what I do. Okay, not everybody's a creative thinker. Some people are analytical thinkers, some people are, you know, more visual thinkers, like, some people are more tactile. That's fucking ridiculous. I'm willing to count to 100,000, bury myself alive, or walk a marathon in the world's largest pairs of shoes by much. I'm so emotionally connected to the channel that it's sad. We can literally turn anything into content. Always have an open mind and never stop innovating. The viewer may think they want a format forever, but they don't. They want new and fresh things. if you're going to be working for the Beast brand, you should be a fan of the Beast brand. You don't have to be a fan of it, of a brand, to work for them. You know, if you like the kind of job that you're going to be accomplishing, because they'll obviously tell you what kind of job you're doing. I'm not saying in this case. This case is fucking ridiculous. But I'm saying, like, for example, Sephora, or, you know, a gas station, things like that. If you like that kind of job field, you don't have to be a fan of the company themselves. I love for you to watch all the channels, but especially the main channel, seeing how you're working on it. To get 60% of the speed, I watch our last 50-ish videos. If you really want to understand the history of the company and the innovations we've been through, I'd recommend you watch every video back until you hit the 10 million subscribers special. That's like asking somebody to watch One Piece in an entire sitting. Consume things on a daily basis that help you write better content. That one, I can agree with. Like, I definitely get inspiration from a lot of YouTubers. Not Mr. Beast at all, but, like, Markiplier, for example. Game Grumps, you know, Darby Valentine. If you wrote a banger piece of content, but it's a 50-50 chance of working, write another piece of content. Content is unlimited. Don't be lazy. Bro, shut the fuck up. If it has a 50-50 chance of working, you know, still try it out. Don't be afraid to try out your ideas, even if they may not get good retention. The video endings must always be abrupt to protect retention. This isn't really a creative thing, but in general, when on set, be attentive and engaged. Filming days are stressful enough. Be useful, please. So if we're tired, we're not being useful. Every single department has an opportunity for you to grow in, and you're in luck because we don't need yearly reviews. We do whenever the fuck you want reviews. Okay. I want nothing more than for you to go all in, obsessive all day, every day, and become so goddamn valuable this company can't operate without you. Uh-huh. You're asking people to fucking overwork themselves. I don't want to save that. But yeah. Scott Leopold, an Austin-based actor who competed in the Vegas round of Beast Games, tells Rolling Stone that he, quote, had no idea who Mr. Beast was, but he applied because, quote, my kids said he's all about helping people on philanthropic stuff. Another contestant who asked to have their name withheld for privacy concerns thought Beast Games would offer, quote, the most amount of exposure and could be a great opportunity, quote, to do more things in the game show world. Quote, I grew up watching shows like Fear Factor, and the people that were casting for the show said it would be the most difficult thing you've ever done, but also a really cool experience. The first stop was in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where, starting on July 18th, 2,000 contestants ate, slept, and lived inside the stadium while competed in challenges like moving heavy objects and an extreme game of Capture the Flag, according to a report from the New York Times. Per the Times, some contestants claimed that they had not received adequate food or medical care, and that some competitors had suffered injuries from the physical challenges. A Mr. Beast spokesperson cited the CrowdStrike incident and extreme weather among other issues. Leopold justified being in what he described as deplorable conditions because he thought being on a reality TV show would be good for my acting, quote. But when he started to hear rumors from other contestants that his elimination and Capture the Flag would just end up on YouTube, he questioned why he was there. Quote, we don't even know to what extent it's going to be used on his YouTube channel, Leopold says. Quote, at that point we didn't even know if we were getting paid. Why am I doing it? According to a contestant agreement and release seen by Rolling Stone, contestants were not promised payment, only prizes from playing of challenges. As for the chaos of the competition, which led to 6 hospitalizations, both contestants acknowledged that production was put in a bad position when trying to bring Donaldson's vision to life. One contestant who made it through the round to Toronto tells Rolling Stone that they, quote, slept on the ground of the stadium and were, quote, confined to their hotel rooms, none of which they were warned of beforehand. Quote, they were in over their heads and they didn't know what to do, Leopold says, like people were just doing things that they couldn't control. After production wrapped, the Mr. Beast team sent out an email seen by Rolling Stone to knocked out contestants, offering a $1,000 payment to all contestants as well as an additional $1,000 payment for those eliminated. All expenses people took on due to travel hiccups with the CrowdStrike outage and all the medical needs either during or after the games will be fully covered, it read. In Toronto, contestants tell Rolling Stone their conditions improved immensely. One contestant in their early 20s who was in both Vegas and Toronto tells Rolling Stone that it was a much better experience. I think that they learned from the mishaps and mistakes they made the first time around. They speculate that contestants were overfed because they were trying to compensate for what happened in Vegas. They also claim that they slept in hotels where they had the freedom to walk around. According to a private group chat of more than 350 Beast Games contestants seen by Rolling Stone, challenges consisted of games like trivia, taking bribes to eliminate others from the competition, and knocking down toy towers with dodgeballs. Quote, this might just be me, but I don't think there's much to report on for Toronto other than we generally are not a fan of the challenges, one contestant wrote in chat. Two contestants in the chat claimed to be bruised and have muscle tears from falling through a trapdoor after elimination. One contestant says, quote, everything seemed to be more in order, but they did suffer minor injuries to their head and groin after their trapdoor unexpectedly opened. I was able to come back into the games, but I was hurting badly, they say. Quote, I want to win the money, so I did my best to stay in, lying to the medics that I was fine. A source close to production says there was a very robust, experienced safety team which included coordinators for stunts, medication, medical, and pharmacists who had to adhere to all sorts of safety guidelines. They added, there were very few injuries relative to the people that went through it. All 6 Beast Games crew members who spoke with Rolling Stone, who all requested anonymity because of NDAs set aside, confirmed that they and their co-workers were not in union. One who worked in a hangar said their co-workers were, quote, everything from seasoned professionals to people who had graduated film school and who had never stepped on the set before. We weren't just seen as human beings, we were seen as a mean to an end, the crew member who worked in a hangar says, although luckily this production was able to move forward without any union behind it. It also makes the co-workers have to fight for their rights. The employees Rolling Stone spoke with describe an environment that was fast-paced but loose when it came to safety. Days regularly went past 12 hours and employees were often tasked with working more than 7 days in a row. Rolling Stone reviewed the pay stubs from one crew member who worked more than 80 hours in 1 week. 3 crew members described not receiving enough adequate food while filming. One who left the Toronto production early says they received a single scoop of rice on their 15-minute break over a 16-hour shift. There was either not enough food, they were running out, or it just wasn't ready on time, one production assistant tells Rolling Stone. It was just kind of crazy. Another PA says that catering ran out of food a bunch of times, and at one point production asked their department to police the lunch line so people didn't take too large of a portion. A source close to production denied that there was a shortage of food, calling it bullshit and saying there were craft services available constantly, way more than even necessary to ensure everyone is fed properly. According to the Ontario Labour Board's Employment Standards Act, there's no weekly limit on the number of hours a crew member can work or necessary eating periods. 4 crew members Rolling Stone spoke with claimed that they were either paid late or not what they were owed. One PA says they didn't receive a paycheck for the first 3 weeks they worked, and another says, I never received one correct paycheck during the entire show. According to the crew members, accounting used Revolution Entertainment Services for payroll, a company none of them have ever used on past productions. The company did not immediately reply to a request or comment. On August 17th, Toronto experienced a large storm and record-breaking rainfall that flooded the set. They stopped actively filming for 36 hours, but, says one production assistant, workers were, quote, told to keep working with piles of electrical equipment literally submerged underwater. According to the Cal Arts School filming video, quote, using electricity of any kind in wet weather conditions is very dangerous and should not be done. A source close to production says as soon as it became clear there was an issue with the rain and the water, the crew and production secured the equipment, and as soon as conditions improved, production continued. Every person who has participated or worked on Beast Games has signed an NDA. The crew member with more than a decade of experience tells Rolling Stone, quote, "They spent more time reiterating that everyone was under an NDA. I've never experienced that before." On September 5th, the Beast Games production office sent out an email to crew members reminding them that any violations of the confidentiality policy contained in your deal memos will be strictly enforced. One crew member NDA Rolling Stone viewed says the recipient waives any right to seek or obtain injunctive or other equitable relief against producer or any project, and that they can't talk about confidential information for 3 years. This is a typical clause for the industry. All 6 crew members tell Rolling Stone that having an NDA swinging above their heads made it difficult for them to come forward. Most had never heard of Mr. Beast before, but no longer wanted anything to do with his content. Quote, "Overall, I'm wondering why this kind of content is so important for the culture." The crew member who worked in a hangar says that this much labor and complicated matrix of things even has to exist in the first place. One competitor was essayed by the production crew in Toronto as claimed by her partner, and he is fighting to get justice for her, which lyrics also talks about.
Some guy came forward named Troy Manning saying that his girlfriend was raped on set of the Beast Games, and now Las Vegas production workers as well are saying that he should be blacklisted from the industry for his misconduct and irresponsible ways of conducting the Beast Games. But I made a video covering already the Lunchley stuff in addition to the lawsuit, so you can go to those videos if you want to check out that. But in regards to this new stuff, so this Troy Manning guy makes this Instagram story where if you're wondering who Troy Manning is, he's kind of nobody of note. Just seems to be a smaller guy, occasionally posting on social media. He's got 200 followers on TikTok. He posts every here and there. On his website, says that he's a documentary cinematographer, and he's got 3K followers on Instagram. But he put out this Instagram story saying, "My girlfriend was raped on set of the Mr. Beast show during construction while filmed BTS with onlookers. Any journalist friends out there that can lend a hand shining a light on this, production let it happen and stopped me from intervening. I'm the only one who alerted police." And then he puts his phone number for what I assume for journalists to reach out to him. But the picture I'm envisioning from the way this guy is describing it is that he saw his girlfriend being taken advantage of, and he was trying to intervene and get in there while people were holding him back or something. Well, I guess production workers were fine and letting this happen, and I guess some were even watching. There was an update saying the person who supposedly accused Mr. Beast's crew of raping his girlfriend did not mean to accuse them in particular, rather the company they hired to build a set. Okay, so someone got in contact with the Troy, and a few things were found out. 1, it wasn't Mr. Beast's crew, rather a company him and BTS hired to build a set named Canadian Production. 2, he has gotten in contact with a journalist. 3, he wants the post to go down to avoid any more phone calls from some randos on the internet. I went and got in contact with Troy himself, and they did basically say the same thing. Here's a screenshot from the Redditor who went and asked Troy themselves, asked if they want credit. They haven't responded yet. We'll edit when it's confirmed. They also asked not to share the text messages right now, but they are explicitly not blaming Mr. Beast in the text messages.
Ultimately, even if the filming in Toronto did better than Vegas, there are some things that are clearly not being taken into consideration or even addressed here, and things are not looking good for the future of the Beast Games. Now it's time to talk about Lunchley. Mr. Beast is an entrepreneur, and we all know that. From his Mr. Beast Burger to his Cash Prize apps to his Feastables candy bars, he has made quite a few things with his brand that have sold exceptionally well. However, when Mr. Beast signed up with Logan Paul and KSI to create Lunchley, a competitor with Lunchables, the internet set them ablaze. One of the first issues that people brought up was the fact that Prime, Logan Paul's brand in the drink provided with Lunchley, was already under investigation for having lead in their drinks, and the warning specifically said Prime should not be consumed by children under 18. The other main issue with Prime is that unless your child is training to be a professional athlete, children should not need electrolytes like adults need them. Rather, they require more nutritional needs. The other issue is that many consumers were finding mold in their pizza Lunchleys, mainly from the cheese that was being packaged into the meal. There's a reason why Lunchables uses cheese product in their meals, as without certain preservatives, it would go bad months before the expiration date. Dr. Mike, a licensed pediatrician and medical YouTuber, talks about Lunchley here.
And I usually don't make videos discussing creators' products, but when terms like healthier or better for you get tossed around, I feel it's important to set the record straight. So, in the spirit of avoiding personal attacks, let's take a look at the science of Lunchly, including a true issue with their kits I don't think anyone has correctly pointed out yet. For those who may not know, Lunchables are basically these pre-packaged do-it-yourself meal kits. They've usually got things like crackers, deli meats, cheeses, treats, and come with a little drink. And since their inception, they've been super popular with kids. However, it's been known, especially by experts, that while these kits are fun and tasty, their nutritional value is just not good. They're often too high in sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars, and don't use healthy whole food ingredients. And because they fall into the category of ultra-processed foods, they aren't healthy to consume often, period. Studies actually show that those consuming high amounts of UPFs can have up to 50% higher risk of developing obesity, and some specific UPFs are linked to increases in cancer. I see it even in my clinic. So many of my pediatric patients are over-consuming UPFs, and it's becoming a growing problem across the country. Consumer Reports even dedicated a special feature highlighting the problems with Lunchables and why they shouldn't be consumed regularly due to health risks. My own take on Lunchables, I don't recommend parents pack them for their kids on a daily basis. A low-quality food with poor nutritional value. But now, what about Lunchly? Starting with the first claim, in the press release announcing the product, Logan Paul was quoted as saying Lunchly is a healthier alternative and that it's a better-for-you lunch option compared to Lunchables. In fact, throughout the Lunchly website and the social media promo posts, you'll see countless comparisons being made to Lunchables. To be honest, some of the comparisons are kind of cringe and don't make much sense to me, but maybe that's because I'm not the target demo. Flavorful combos versus standard picks? The meal kit combos are nearly identical to Lunchables. Big gestures versus mid moments? I certainly don't remember that lesson in my nutrition classes. I was more concerned with the nutritional comparisons being made anyway, so if someone was to make a healthy meal kit for kids, I would find that incredibly valuable. And in looking in the comparison, I'd be most interested in calories, which they have, protein, which they have, sugar, which they have, saturated fat, which is missing, and sodium, which is not only missing, but replaced by electrolytes. And unlike all the other macros, is only labeled potassium and only in the prime bottle in the kit, comparing it to the Capri Sun in the Lunchables. This is a pretty weird marketing choice to label electrolytes in food products. It's such a strange choice that it even stunned fellow Dr. Brian Suterer, who tweeted,
"Sodium getting rebranded as electrolytes will be taught in marketing textbooks one day."
And sadly was ashamed to see Logan attack instead of starting a meaningful dialogue with the doctor, given that 400 milligrams is not the amount of electrolytes in prime, at least in the image that Logan shared. 400 milligrams of potassium plus 5 milligrams of sodium equals 405 milligrams of electrolytes. It's not about nitpicking, it's just about being reasonable and honest to help further the conversation. Look, if I want to decide if a food is right for me, I like to be able to compare the entire electrolyte profile, which would have to include sodium. Despite these legitimate upgrades, social media posts are slamming Lunchly for not being perfect. But Lunchly does not need to be perfect to be valuable for kids. It just needs to be significantly healthier in order to reduce risk. As a doctor, I use risk reduction all the time, essentially taking something harmful and replacing it with something less harmful, but still imperfect. As an example, I would never recommend starting vaping, but getting someone to replace smoking cigarettes with vaping is generally a good step down in terms of health risk. Knowing all that, is it fair to say that Lunchly is healthier? I guess one can say yes, but honestly, probably more so as a marketing tactic. The reason why? Well, let's look at the recently passed nutrition standards set forth by the USDA for school lunches and see how Lunchly compares. Going line by line here. Less than 10% of calories should come from saturated fat. Lunchly turkey, 23% of calories come from saturated fat. Less than 10% of calories should come from added sugars. Lunchly turkey, 10.4 comes from added sugars. But this is where things get really interesting, and for some reason no one has pointed this out. You see, USDA caloric guidelines say that a lunch meal for kids K through 8 should contain around 625 calories. Kids need energy to function, and calories give them that energy. Lunchly turkey contains only 230 calories, which would mean a kid would need to eat about 2.7 portions to consume enough calories. And if they did that, they'd get nearly 1,300 milligrams of sodium, which is also significantly over the USDA standards. So they'd be either under-eating calories or overeating sodium.
There's also the issue with the fact that Logan Paul and KSI are constantly deflecting any criticism, even in the face of massive controversy, and their greed has always been a major issue with viewers, consistently making them lose their audiences. Need we speak more on Aoki Gahara and that Logan Paul video? Now we need to dive into the people that have left Mr. Beast. There are quite a few. I will watch Fox Akimbo's and Sunny V2's videos on them here, but we are going to go over 3 of them and then go over the one spearheading major allegations against Mr. Beast. The first is going to be Jake Weddle. Jake Weddle was a writer, director, and contestant on Mr. Beast who left in November 2018. He made a video speaking on why he left the company. However, when Mr. Beast offered to pay him $190,000 without taking the videos down, Jake told his audience that he didn't want the money. Yet, he took $50K anyway to pay off his debts. This caused tremendous backlash as this felt very two-faced, all things considered. He caused even more backlash as he would go back and forth, claiming 1 minute to praise Jimmy, then go right back to disrespecting him. He would later be confronted by Lyrics and Cam Nuggets, with Lyrics trying to show fairness, while Cam oddly leaned towards Jake's perspective. Jake made several jabs due to the criticism Lyrics was making, as seen here.
I'm a little late to making this video, but a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with Jake Weddle, the main ex-employee coming out against Mr. Beast, who was involved in a Dogpacks 404 video calling Mr. Beast a sociopath. I was able to have a conversation with him based on a couple of key details that I feel like needed to get more clarification on that weren't really fully addressed in the Dogpack video, and ask about a couple of things that I found to be questionable that he was saying about Mr. Beast. So overall, what this call shows is that Jake Weddle is not a trustworthy source, and I don't really think should be taken seriously at all in regards to the Mr. Beast allegations, but instead just muddies up the water from the legitimate accusations and the legitimate wrong things that Mr. Beast has done. For example, hiring the registered sex offender onto the team, in addition to the other unethical ways he did his giveaways. Like, I feel like there is a lot of legitimate critiques to be going at Mr. Beast for, but a lot of the legitimate critiques kind of get drowned out by a lot of other like kind of bullshit accusations that just get added onto the social dog pile and kind of just ruins the whole discourse to the soul. It's actually in your best interest, if you hate Mr. Beast and want him to go down, if you really want to cancel him, it's in your best interest to finely tune your critiques to make sure that you can nail him on 100% facts, because if you don't, and if you give him some wiggle room, he can respond with an easy dunk and respond with an easy way to debunk the points you're saying against him. And once Mr. Beast has debunked one of your points, you're going to look a lot less credible moving forward. So even if you have legitimate critiques of Mr. Beast, they're not really going to be taken as seriously anymore, because he's already shown you to be an untrustworthy source. Jake Weddle is the main one I want to focus on here. In this call, the first thing I bring up to him is the solitary confinement video, and whether or not he was truly like forced into staying into the video, and how much responsibility can we put on Mr. Beast. So with this instance, I'm curious about with solitary confinement, right? I was curious on, was there a time, because I feel like this was kind of lost in the Dogpack video, was there a time where specifically that you told Mr. Beast and the crew that I want out, I don't want to do this challenge anymore, and they told you, no, you have to stay in the challenge?
Yeah, I was trying to talk to the Jimmy only came in for a little bit, and it was to film. So when I was doing a lot of the production talk, it was to directors and producers. So there was times leading up to the marathon where I was vocalizing, not necessarily I want to get out right now, but hey, what if we did it not in 30? What if we maybe did less than that? What if we, I don't know, what if we did 10, or what if maybe, I don't know. And then leading up to the marathon, it was getting a lot more apparent that I would have liked to have left. And the straw that broke the camel's back was definitely the marathon itself. And once I was saying, I want to get out, they were actively trying to convince me to stay in there longer. They were trying to convince me to stay in there maybe. I think I said this in the Dogpack video, 7 more days. And I was telling them, no, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. And that's when the lights finally got turned off. And I slept for I don't know how long, but one of those big, good, long 18-hour ones, give or take. I want to be exact.
Quick thing about those challenges. Quick thing on those challenges. So were those challenges mandatory to things like the marathon? I think the Rubik's Cube as well. Were those mandatory? I
was doing a couple of the challenges leading up to it, and again, this is the thing with the video. Technically speaking, on paper, no. But when I tried to not do the Rubik's Cube thing, he was just do it. Just do it for the thing. I didn't want to do a lot of stuff that I was pushed to do. For instance, there was some Legos in there. I didn't ask for Legos to be in there. I didn't care if Legos were in there. And I was like, they would turn on the intercom and they would say, we want you to play with the Legos and build something. And the things that was I had a guitar in there. I had a sketch pad in there. So I was doing a lot of writing in there, and I was doing a lot of figuring out how to play the guitar. I learned how to play 3 chords. It was great, but that's what I was spending my time doing. And then they were like, stop doing that and play with the Legos. And I was like, I don't want to make this making me feel good.
Something I think is
so there was a lot of pressure to do stuff. But yeah, I'm sorry,
So Jake Weddle did agree to this. He agreed to do all of these things, and he consented as a grown man, but then he felt pressure that he couldn't stop anymore. And his first 2 examples of Mr. Beast forcing him to do things and telling him to just do it, forcing him beyond his will, is to play with a Rubik's Cube, to solve a Rubik's Cube, and also build Legos while he's in the solitary confinement video so they can record it for a challenge. This guy's getting paid $10,000 a day, each day he stays in the solitary confinement thing, and was going to win a prize money of $300,000. Life-changing money if he could survive 30 days or whatever. You're there to do a job, right? You signed up as a contestant to win prize money, and you're complaining about being forced to do Rubik's Cube and build Legos. And you're using these 2 examples to bolster your argument that you were just forced into doing things. Okay, so you bring up the word pressure. So I feel like when making these allegations or talking about the situation, your wording is very important, and how specific the wording is very, very important. Yes. So, for example, there'd be a huge difference if Mr. Beast told you outright, no, you have to do this, or you felt pressured into doing it. So when I ask you,
be a crime. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I guess I want clarification on that, because I feel like you're kind of answering some of these in blatant no, so I just want to clarify that. So were these marathons or challenges mandatory?
Again, I'm going to say technically no, but all the points I made in the video about why I was pressured to do so still are aggressively valid, and I feel like saying, well, he technically had the ability to leave. Technically, yes. I want to keep using the word technically. That's what technically means. This wasn't a crime.
Yeah, so in what ways did you...
the
Yeah, so I guess in what ways did you feel that you were pressured? Did you feel like you would lose your job? Does Mr. Beast have a pattern of
Yeah,
firing
they
people
wouldn't call me
if they don't
back.
listen?
They didn't. First of all, after this video didn't air after we filmed, they did not call me back ever for another thing. So that just proves that, I was a poor sport about one. Not even a poor sport. I said no, and then they're like, all right, well, don't call Jay back for stuff. There was also the pressure to want to get called back so I could do more challenges. So I could do more stuff. So good.
Sorry, was that the case? I thought so. You were, if my timeline's correct.
That was the last thing I ever did over there, and then they never called me back after that. Yeah,
So
because I
what do
said
you-
no, so I don't need. Yeah.
So this time, Jake Weddle wasn't an employee of Mr. Beast. He already got let go a few months ago, and now he's just coming back as like a buddy or a contestant to like hopefully help out with this video, right? So he wasn't on the payroll, so he didn't have to worry about losing his job at this point. He didn't have to worry about that pressure. The only pressure he had to worry about is not getting a call back for being another contestant. And he's blaming Mr. Beast for not calling him back after this, and I just don't think this is a reasonable point to kind of throw at Mr. Beast here. To be 100% honest, I kind of have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that I guess you didn't have the ability to say no. So could you kind of...
That's fine. I was there and you weren't. Okay.
I know, yeah. So could you
could
you make me understand like why you felt that you couldn't say no this time? Because I feel like agency towards everybody is a very important thing.
Yeah, well,
that they're-
I was the head writer for a while, and when I was the head writer, I always found it really, really difficult to pitch stuff to Jimmy, just because Jimmy is very, like, the way he speaks to people is very, like, I don't want to say, like, other people have come forward and say, like, Jimmy talks to the crew really, really shitty, and I just think he doesn't, like, have the thing in his brain that tells him to talk to a certain, like, he doesn't tiptoe around feelings, right? And that can come across very, shitty. So I had a really, really hard time pitching stuff to Jimmy just because of the way he spoke and the way he is. So in that regard, he's this millionaire boss who is he does my paycheck. He is this also like just a rich kid, essentially. He's younger than me. And so there's that anxiety that comes from letting down the guy who has all of the money. Me, somebody who has, grew up on food stamps, you know what I mean? Here's the guy who I have to make happy in order to, get the things I want.
Yeah, so real quick,
in that
do you
regard,
think
I wanna-
Mr. Beast is responsible for your anxiety there? Because I feel like that's an unfair thing to prescribe to Mr. Beast.
I don't think he's responsible for my anxiety. I'm just saying it's a factor. No. I'm just saying I have anxiety.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a fine factor, but I don't think it strengthens your point because you can't put that responsibility on Mr. Beast.
Talking. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just talking. I apologize. Yeah. So the thing about that was there is that like anxiety or whatever.
Mr. Beast is not responsible for your anxiety. Mr. Beast having a lot of money, so you feel like fearful to try to speak up against him. He is not responsible for that. Mr. Beast is also not responsible for being a stern CEO that sounds like he just speaks his mind towards his employees and doesn't tiptoe around feelings. Yeah, welcome to like nearly every CEO that has ever existed.
But there's also like. There is a video that's happening right now. Like I'm just on my own aware of how much money goes into the set. I myself am aware that there's a production schedule. You know what I mean? So there's like the aspect of not just letting Jimmy down, but letting the entire business down. So I want to be a good sport, but there's also the pressure of being in the video myself. And like I was somebody who was always cut out of videos, and this video coming out would have been huge for me, even though they weren't allowing me to get the plug and they weren't allowing me to have my like handle up there. Like this is my face, this is my personality, and people are going to see it. And so, yeah, there was so many pressures to continue. And we didn't even talk about the fact that if I do this, I get what I was told is $300,000. So
yeah, none of this is Mr. Beast's problem. It's your problem. You felt the pressure of that you're going to fail a challenge that you signed up for, and you're not going to get the prize money if you failed. That's your problem. What I'm hearing so far is a whole bunch of...
But yeah, the pressures that exist.
So, yeah, that's fine. But what I hear so far is that these are a whole bunch of internal pressures that you have. I don't think you can hold Mr. Beast responsible
Yeah,
for
but
this.
like it's not like they fell out of a vacuum. I mean, these pressures exist because this is the company that Jimmy built. Jimmy built this company, and the pressures come from the way that the company operates. So to say,
I'm gonna interrupt, right? I'm gonna interrupt because Dogpack makes a great point here, and you also made a great point in your original in the video. You actually pointed out the fact that Mr. Beast is all about content, so like he films all this from the content perspective. And so Dogpack actually said here, if he said no, the company that employs his friends would take a $500,000 financial hit. The challenge flat out wasn't that. Jake agreed to, or wasn't what Jake agreed to.
So Dogpack writes in the chat basically just more of the same thing, is that, well, Jake Weddle felt pressure because of his friends would actually lose a financial hit if he didn't complete this challenge. Okay, whose responsibility is this? It's not Mr. Beast, it's not the crew, it's not his company. It's just objectively true. Yeah, if they're putting a lot of money into a challenge type of video, and if Jake Weddle can't follow through with his end, yeah, it's going to take a hit. So I can understand not wanting to let your buddies down and wanting to persevere and complete the challenge, but you can't now fuck over the people for giving you the opportunity in the first place to win this prize money. If you couldn't complete the challenge of solitary confinement, then just say no. And you did say no, and you still walked away with $100,000. Like, dude, I feel like it's just so obvious. You signed up for a challenge, didn't complete the challenge, you said you wanted to get out, they let you out, and you got money, still.
To say that there's no pressure and to say that all the pressure was manufactured by me, I think is a little ridiculous, but that's it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it reaches that higher bar when Mr. Beast is held responsible. Because with what you're saying, it sounds like Mr. Beast can't ethically run any
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
it's not like
challenge.
a show or anything.
What'd you
Well,
say?
yeah, no, I also don't like the way he does challenges, too. So I'm just consistent on that, too. I think when you stick a camera in a poor person's face and make them dance for money, I think it's fucked up and weird and creepy, but that's just me.
Okay, so do you think there's any ethical way that Mr. Beast could be doing these challenges?
Yeah, turn the fucking camera off. Don't do a challenge. You want to be ethical? Just fucking donate because it's the right thing to do. Don't make fucking content out of it. Or if you are going to make content out of it, don't do fucking yacht videos. Don't do $1 million fucking excess videos later, because that's ridiculous too. If you're going to do charitable work, if you're going to do work that helps the poor, and then you turn around and go, this is what a gajillion-dollar yacht looks like hanging out with Pete Davidson, yeah, fuck off. That's shitty.
Okay, so no, you don't think you can do it while recording it?
No, I've said time and time again, I think the business model is unethical in and of itself, and Jimmy invented the business model.
Okay, so yeah, so far I've heard just like psychological, and if you want to reiterate that point with like how his friends would lose out on the money too, I'd appreciate that because I don't think that fully got fleshed out so
Well,
far.
I think it's the company would take the financial dive of not having Jimmy's videos, dude. Like the ad revenue on those
Dude,
videos, it's
okay,
more.
okay. Yeah, here's the
Super Bowl
thing.
ad
But the
money.
thing is that yes, that is true, and I bet you did feel a lot of pressure that you didn't want to cause like your friend or buddy in the past, Mr. Beast, any kind of money by failing this challenge. I get that. That's 100% of pressure. But the thing is that I don't think it's that high of a pressure where then Mr. Beast is now held responsible for doing like an unethical, like fucked up challenge. In that
That's
specific
just,
right.
you know, that's where you're coming from, and I disagree, and that's fine.
Well, yeah, but do you understand my perspective on how like that?
I do.
That
I just vehemently disagree with it.
to like put
I
that
hope you understand
responsibility on
why.
Mr. Beast.
And I see where you're coming from. I disagree, and I hope you see where I'm coming from. And whether or not you disagree with that, that's fine too.
Yeah, because I just think like personal agency, erasing that, you have to reach a really high bar to take away someone's personal agency.
Sure. And I think, yeah, I think Jimmy definitely took away that agency in droves. But if you don't think so, that's fine.
Yeah, and like the reason I just want to harp on this is just it's a really big allegation to say that, like Mr. Beast took away your agency and in a sense kind of like forced you into doing this. But
I agree. That is very serious. That's why I allege it.
This guy's not a victim, and it's an insult to real ones for him to go on Dogpack's channel and cry and break down in tears as he's retelling the story.
Yeah, I'm running until 3 a.m. I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe. It's all over, just these big red.
The worst thing I've heard Mr. Beast do in this case is keeping on the lights while this guy was trying to sleep because he justified it by saying he wants to have time-lapse shots on his camera. That's the worst thing I've heard Mr. Beast do. But at the end of the day, dude, all you had to do is just say, hey, you know what? Can you turn off the lights? They said, no, I don't want to turn off the lights. And then you say, okay, if you're not going to turn off the lights, then I'm just not comfortable continuing this challenge anymore. And then, so with the no means no thing, there's one thing I wrote down that you said that I just want to quickly go back to. So you alluded to kind of things like saying, what if we did 10 days and not 30, right? That was one of the other reasons where you tried to say no and they didn't allow you to, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it wasn't until I was having a mental breakdown where one of the crew members had to come in and console me, fully like breaking down, and then a psych came in, and a psych said, "You guys got to stop." Once my agency really started taking over, I guess, is when maybe the lights got turned off and I got let out when I did. I just wish I didn't have to make that big of a stink, but that seems to be the only thing that moves things in this industry. So whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you explain what that big stink was? Because from what I heard or gathered from like the video,
oh yeah,
the
full-on mental breakdown I had.
Yeah, sorry. What does that mean?
Oh yeah, crying profusely, panic attack level, anxiety attack, all while cameras were rolling. I had one of the crew members coming in and consoling me. It's one of the reasons why they got the psych to come in and check me out. I know I was, the video itself was heavy, but it could have gotten heavier. We were making a video, so.
Yeah. And to be fair, you probably think this is unfair, but at least what I was gathering from that video is that it sounded like the minute that you really made it known that you want to stop this challenge, Mr. Beast let you out.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. The minute I said, let me out, there was a lot of convincing to keep me in, and then I was kept in there for another probably 24 hours before they tiptoed around the fact that let's hope he doesn't sue when he leaves, and then I got let out. So that's what happened.
And sorry, to be ultra specific, like what was the convincing?
Yeah. Do you think you can maybe do a few more days if we make like something like a little, I don't remember off the top of my head like some of the condolences they were trying to make or some of the compromises, but they were doing a lot of like, what will you stay in if you do this? And like,
so trying to work with you and compromise with you, that's the convincing, that's the forcing you into it. I mean, dude, that's a normal conversation. What do you mean? I don't understand. I feel like I'm in a new universe, how this is a wrong thing. So he just asked you, hey man, so you're having some trouble, is there any way we can work this out to hopefully salvage the video still and still make sure that you're okay and you're fine and you're not going to suffer any like big problems? Having that honest conversation and trying to work out how it will benefit both sides is not a problem. I don't know the problem.
My issue was my legs didn't work anymore. I literally couldn't walk, and I had blisters on my feet that like I couldn't step on.
You literally couldn't walk?
No, I for 3 or 4 days I was like shuffling like an old person because my joints and when you don't train to run a marathon and the lactic acid builds up, you can just look up scientifically what happens to your legs if you've never run a marathon in your life and then ran on a goof maybe after 8 days of no sunlight, no vitamin D, for example. But I literally couldn't walk for several days after, and they wanted to keep filming. And I was like, the content's bad after that. The content's not good. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I had to beg to be let out, and that's because I couldn't walk anymore.
Okay. And sorry, I keep that for specifics. I just feel like a lot of it is getting exaggerated.
No, you're good. I can get into specifics. They're just a little harder to get into, and I apologize for that.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, of course, when I hear the things like you couldn't walk, I'm like, wait, what does that mean? Because that would be a really big deal if Mr. Beast literally saw that you can stand up, and he was still, like, was trying to convince you and say, like, hey, man, you have
I was like laying in the mattress that I had on the floor when everyone was coming in to console me because I couldn't stand up.
Okay. So moving on a little bit. So, I saw you said that you did 10 days or 11 days, correct?
11, I want to say, yeah.
11. And then you also said you feel like you're justified that Mr. Beast owes you the full $300,000, right?
No, I feel like when I was leaving the challenge, since I was honeypotted in with 300,000, and even though the video went terribly wrong, I felt like it would have been the smarter thing for him to do was to just give me the full 300 that I thought I was getting.
What was the honeypotting that was happening? What was it that you weren't informed that you would have to build Legos, do a Rubik's Cube, and have to run a marathon for these challenges? Was that the honeypotting? So and something I want to ask too is that there is, I'm not sure if you're aware, you probably are, but there is old videos of you previously talking about your separation with Mr. Beast at first, I think around like 2 or 3 years ago, and you say that your separation from Mr. Beast was very amicable and cool. I could show the clip up if you want. I got it.
Oh yeah, the when I left the actual mutual employment situation, and it was for me because I was over the moon about leaving. I didn't like working there, and I wanted to leave, and he paid me to leave, and he also didn't like me, and that's because I was trying to inject funny, weird comedy into the scripts that he didn't like. So yeah, in that instance, it was a mutual breakup of sorts, where I was over the moon to leave, and he was probably over the moon to get rid of me. I was genuinely devastated. My friend also lost his job because I fought for that guy, and I wanted him to get paid more, and I was devastated to see his reaction. That really, really, really fucked my shit up for a long time. And we talked about it actually a few months before I came forward with everything, where I told him how guilty I felt about that the whole time. We had a heart to heart, and that was lovely. But as far as like that, like employment separation, like when I left the company on that regard, yeah, was over the moon to leave the company. It was very mutual. Was my friend in that same situation? Absolutely not. Was I riddled with guilt about what happened to him? Absolutely. And did I come back and do a challenge because of the ability to continue to speak publicly that I was doing, your video cited in question? Yeah, I was able to do more videos because of that. That's why you talk nice in public. And then I was, even though I had that horrible experience, I still shut the fuck up about it until I saw, I don't know, Discord chats, and I, heard why they called him Delaware, allegedly. So I heard all these things, and I thought, oh, I shouldn't be quiet any second longer, and I ran to Dogpack as fast as I could.
Okay. Would you ever consider becoming a writer for Mr. Beast again if the opportunity presented itself?
Yeah, I would do writing with Jimmy again.
So, are you still in contact with Jimmy, or how often do you guys talk now?
I haven't talked to Jimmy in a minute. I mean, like, I know, like, the company that he keeps over there is very much, like super, super, like, friendly. Like, the people that, like, came up there and, like, built it around, like, there's such, like, a friendly environment over there. Staff writers, and eventually we were salary, and eventually we were directing, and so that was, like, the super, super fun, like, 2 years just to be a part of that.
That's amazing.
Like, people go, like, oh, you're writing for Beast, so it's all fake? And it's like, no, it's all real. It's a lot of the time, like, in fact, sometimes it's painfully real. Like, Jimmy will make it so real, production gets upset. I mean, like, how do we do that? And one of the writers in the room at the time, Mike Horn, he used to work at Domino's and still had the uniform. So we came up with that bit, and he's like, I have the uniform. And we had to pitch it to Jimmy in a way that, like, he hates doing stuff that's fake. He never, ever, ever wants to do fake stuff. And if anybody watches the video, you think he faked something, I swear to God he didn't. That's one thing. I give credit where credit's due. He didn't fake a thing.
So you mentioned that you'll be going southeast. So, we talked a little bit earlier, but I just want to, like, highlight this one more time. It is technically humanly possible for you to be in a Mr. Beast video again. Since you're going in that direction, maybe it would be considered that you'd be in a Mr. Beast video one more time?
No, if I pop by, maybe if I text somebody ahead of time that I'm in town, anything I can do, fellas, then we'll see. I did right before I moved to New York. I was supposed to be in a video. It was right after we filmed the 3 days in prison video that I did come back for, and then I was supposed to do another one, but the video ended up, like, not turning out. Like, it's a video that he's replicated a few times recently, but, like, the first time he was going to do it, they did it with me, and I think there was just some bugs with the production. And so I did that video, and we recorded about, like, it was supposed to be one of those, like, long endurance videos, and I recorded like half of it, and we just were like, hey, I just don't think there's, like, stuff here that's working entirely, but it's like just, like, bugs we have to. It was like their first time doing it, so they needed, like, I was like the guinea pig for some production stuff, and I still got paid, don't get me wrong, but then I was just like, yeah, no worries, I appreciate being the guinea pig, for this. So it's almost like I was like a really expensive production team. I was still in pre-production, baby. I thought I was production, but no pre-production. I'm sorry, just because based on the subject matter of the conversation, I just want to get one point out that's been on my brain for quite some time. And as I'm talking to you, Lyrics, I can tell that the more information that I give you, the more data that maybe that you didn't have that I can happily give you, I can see more understanding coming, and I appreciate that. But one thing that really, really, really bothers me is the level of scrutiny that comes towards the people who are trying to speak out against the people who have all the power, all the money, all the influence. They're getting much, much, much less scrutiny, or at least, like, their claims and their credibility is less in question. But the people who have, like, something to gain, but also, like, the fact that I'm in the position that I'm in, like, I have no money, I have no power, like, I had no influence. I'm getting a little audience now, which is nice, but I'm under so much more scrutiny. Dogpack, Rosanna, everyone's making sure all the people, there's so many people that are coming out saying similar things are scrutinized, but we still have people for free. It's like when Jimmy was like, hey, if you are a child, can you go to Walmart and fix my chocolate for free? Like, everyone's doing all this free PR work for Jimmy. He can afford Harvey Weinstein's PR team. It's fine. He got them. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm a independent, not paid off source of any sorts. But
that's why I'm talking about your honest because you're independent. I appreciate you.
Yeah, to address that though, like, first, I'm being honest. Mr. Beast is being met with 100 times more scrutiny than you or anybody else involved. Mr. Beast is completely on the bottom of the social dog pile. So that's not true. I know it may feel like very overwhelming. That may feel very.
We can disagree on that. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
If I was in those Discord chats, would I be able to work again?
If you were in the Discord chats of Chris Tyson?
If I did one of the things that Jimmy did, could I continue to work in this town?
It depends. It's a more complicated conversation.
It depends. More complicated. Yes, okay.
Well, I'm just trying to say one point at a time. So what you said is that Mr. Beast is met with more scrutiny, but and in this case though, and I understand being frustrated and overwhelmed with a lot of scrutiny that's coming at you in this situation. I know it's very frustrating because you
which is fine. I'll fucking bet it. Backhand tennis racket. I back it.
But to be 100% fair, I think with the manner in which that you're presenting this information, I mean, if you're honest with yourself, you're very inflammatory with the way that you're accusing Mr. Beast.
I am.
Mean, you're saying things like,
I'm very honest guy.
Like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't you compare Mr. Beast to like your dad who interacted with a minor?
I did because I had a very similar allegory that I thought was very apropos. Yeah.
I know, but do you understand how people can be more? Yeah, I'm just saying. Do you understand how people can be critical of your approach when you're that inflammatory that you're comparing Mr. Beast to like your pedophile dad?
I don't think that's. I think my vibe is hectic. Sure, I got a bad vibe. I've apologized for my vibe every single goddamn day of my life. But as far as the subject matter in which I went about it, I thought it was a personal story for me, and it also shows why I feel strongly about what I'm doing. You know, because if I'm going to come out here and defend myself from being a clout chaser and an opportunist, then fuck it. I'll tell a personal anecdote about something that means a lot to me and something that I do feel is appropriate, even if you feel like it's inflammatory. I still feel like it's appropriate because what my dad used to do was he would make sure so he could continue to have the big public persona that he had, where he was everyone in the neighborhood loved him. He was a swim coach, and so it wasn't until news broke that something bad happened to a kid that people started taking me seriously when I was trying to tell people what a piece of shit he was behind closed doors. Now, again, I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but you can understand how I would have magically connected those dots. I'm not accusing Jimmy of being a pedophile, but there's a lot of pedophile accusations happening.
Well, yeah, that last part of your sentence is kind of the reason why I feel like it's justified to go your approach here. I mean, you kind of are like alluding towards certain things about Mr. Beast by comparing him to your dad, and then you're talking about other things Mr. Beast is related. You know what I mean?
Probably knew about those Discord chats and covered him up. That's at the very least we can say is probably maybe true, right? So Ava was confirmed in those Discord chats. Delaware is a confirmed sex offender that works at the place, and I was just saying a personal story. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you are admitting that like you are making some kind of comparison to your dad. So this is proof too that not only was Jake Weddle trying to use this analogy referring to his dad, who apparently ended up being a pedophile, is that when you compared it to Mr. Beast, it wasn't just for the reason that a lot of people thought his dad was a good person publicly, but behind the scenes he was doing a lot of messed up shit. He wasn't only making the analogy for that reason; it was for other more deviant things and more like sexual related things.
My dad was this swim coach in the neighborhood. Something everybody loved. Behind closed doors, he's a real piece of shit. And so when stuff started hitting the fan, what? Him? No, surely. But then the news broke. You know that he did what he did to one of the students of the team. But it was a surprise, and it was just a consequence happening to somebody who was really good at avoiding them for a long time. And I don't know, everybody loves Jimmy, and behind closed doors, he is not super great. And
he's mad at people for criticizing his approach when he's doing that. Dude, you're comparing Mr. Beast to a pedophile, and you expect to get like no pushback or to be like called out on why that's insane, and now you're defending and justifying it in this call as well, showing that you do believe in that.
Yeah, people would say, I would talk about what my dad was like. They'd be like, "But that guy, no way," you know. And it wasn't until news broke that he did something bad to a kid that people started changing their attitude, and I got a lot of sorries. I don't know. Just another relevant story, I guess. Hassan, keep the family away. Moist, keep the family away.
I mean, he's saying moist critical, keep the family away. Fucking Hassan, keep the family away when talking about Mr. Beast, referring to the Kendrick Lamar song, calling Drake a pedophile. Like, dude, you're out like walking right up to the door to calling this guy a pedo, and you've compared him to your dad. You interacted with.
I think what happened is, I don't know what your point is about.
Jake was in a mindset, and he was just emotional, and in the moment he spoke in a way that alludes Mr. Beast to a situation in his own life, potentially.
Yeah,
but now he's defending it, so it's fine if you have an emotional outburst in one
moment.
I'm
defending it the whole time. I'm not sure what the point of these questions are. Like, I stand behind everything I said, and I said them on purpose. So does that help?
Yeah, the reason why I brought these questions because you were mad why the people are going at you and at your approach, and I brought up that it's very much justified to go to your approach because you see.
Oh no, I'm more upset that people are mad at my vibe. I'm more upset that people are mad at my vibe. I don't think me being the way I speak and the way I talk should be discrediting. My entire life I've done stand up. I wish I could fucking turn it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not talking about your vibe. I'm just talking about like the things you say. But we can move on to another point that I wrote down that I don't want to mix gaps because you said that with Mr. Beast offering you money, that was an admission of guilt. So I guess if you want people to be good faith to you and to hear out your story, you gotta be good faith to Mr. Beast. That's not an admission of guilt. It could just be plain a PR game. Like I have no invested interest in defending Mr. Beast.
Okay, yeah, I think admission of guilt is a charitable thing to do.
I think that even from
there's a delay, so I'm sorry if I'm interrupting.
No, even from a PR perspective, I think that giving someone that amount of money after them saying that they deserve that kind of money is almost an admission of guilt, even from a PR perspective.
If I was lying out of my asshole, he'd sue me into the ground, and he didn't do that. He gave me money.
No, he wouldn't, because that would look worse PR-wise. This is the game. I mean, you should know it better than anyone. You're an employee
I think
of
if Mr. Beast
you know that
did nothing,
you could call him Mr. Beast pedophile adjacent, and you know that he wouldn't sue you because that would make him look really bad in the public eye.
I think if Mr.
I'm just not sure. Like, if we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of like this full of nitty-gritty, like I don't know, like.
Well, sorry, I feel like it's very important. Yeah, sorry. The reason why I think it's an important thing to bring up, we can go on the next point if you want. But the reason I thought this was important is because you said it was an admission of guilt by Mr. Beast, or I think that's like a very.
I'm sorry. It could be an admission of guilt. It could be a PR move. I think both of them bolster me. So whether or not one of them is the other, I think all of them still bolster me. So forgive me if I wasn't super clear and spoon-fed.
Well, hey man, I don't think that's spoon-fed. I think it's just being fair to all sides of the fence that could potentially happen here.
And I was trying really hard to be, despite this Discord.
Yeah, so there's a huge difference between admission of guilt, like fucking silence money, like paying someone off.
I think an admission of guilt is on the table. I think silence money is on the table. I think a PR move is on the table. I think all of them are possible. I'm just telling the audience what you have.
Yeah, but being that nuanced, I think will help you out in the long run. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Sure, and I feel like I'm trying to be as goddamn nuanced as possible. I really am.
Okay, so we can move on to the next point though, because I do have some other points about this 50K.
Yeah, let's get to the next point. What's up?
Yeah, so so I have a clip up if you want, where you quote exactly in your previous video. I'm sure you're aware because this is what you've grown your new audience off of. Is that you said that the way you're going to win this game is with honesty and not taking money. I don't want your money, Mr. Beast. And do you see like how taking 50K from Mr. Beast?
Yeah, I don't want his money.
Your credibility.
I don't think it does.
Let's talk about nuance.
Well, I could establish
nuance. Okay.
Do you want to establish?
Yeah, we're going to establish the points. The points that I established that I'm going to help you follow. So the point that we're establishing is I don't want Jimmy's money. I don't want to be in a position to have to take Jimmy's money. When you have $200 in your bank account and they're offering you $190,000 and you still don't take all $190,000 because you don't want to be bought out, because you don't want to be XYZ. but you still need 50. I don't want Jimmy's money, but I need to eat food.
No,
Is that okay?
I
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I want to be fair to you. I don't want to ramp this up to be an aggressive conversation. I do understand where that
No,
comes from, and I know how
you're
sure. I know how you're in a very difficult situation. It is very much like a moral dilemma. But I don't think Mr. Beast is responsible for your poor financial status. And if you're willing to play this game and you're willing to make the choice on whether or not you want to take $50,000 or keep your credibility,
I actually think
it
it is his responsibility because he broke my contract about it. You want to hear about it?
Yeah, just 1 second. So if you want to make this decision, you have to either choose take the 50K and have it hit your credibility, or deny all the money and keep your credibility. Because you built your credibility on not taking money from Mr. Beast. That's what people are applauding.
I think you're
for.
taking
I want to answer this question. So real quick.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you go ahead because I just lost my thought. I apologize.
Yeah, you're good. Think about it. I was going to say, Lyrics, you're focusing too hard on the idea of like, Mr. Beast, I don't want your money. The way I hear that is, I don't want your hush money. You know, if you're going to pay me and tell me to shut up and stop making videos, I don't want it. But if Mr. Beast comes out and says, hey, here's 50K, sorry for treating you like garbage, but you can continue to make videos and content, that's the way I see it. I would gladly take 50K. If Mr. Beast paid me 50K and it was like, you can still keep making videos, milking me, I would gladly take it. Why would I not take 50K, even if I don't like Mr. Beast?
Lyrics, I think the issue is you're saying you keep trying to. I think you're upset that I'm blaming Mr. Beast for things that I do not like entirely blame Mr. Beast for, because yeah, it's a world that has a gajillion variables, obviously. But to say that Mr. Beast had zero impact on my life is also ridiculous, and that's where the nuance comes in. Is how much blame can we put on Mr. Beast for XYZ? Sure, that's a conversation. I don't know why that's the most important thing in the world, because I think the impact was had, and whether or not, like getting down to the nitty gritty so we can calculate exactly how much he owes me. You know, that's silly, ridiculous, and I don't have time for that. But what I will say is his responsibility is part of why one of my NDA severance agreements is null and void was because in my contract they were supposed to. Because they are supposed to give out good severance. And why do you give out good severance? It's so you'll be mean later. But in their great, wonderful, amazing severance package, they essentially were supposed to reach out to 7 companies of my choice. I wanted 10. They said 5. You had negotiations work. So they didn't reach out to any of them. They only reached out to one, and it was with a letter of recommendation that was 1 sentence that was not even signed by Jimmy. I'm sure he just said, yeah, whatever, green light, and then it was 1 sentence, and I did not get that job. So which is fine. The career I have had is still because of Jimmy, because I had the resume. I had Mr. Beast on my resume, and I was just a nice guy at the office who did good work. So people I would work somewhere, and someone from Mr. Beast who was a Netflix producer who hated Mr. Beast, who thinks they're unprofessional, went on to a different job and said, hey, here's that writer I like. Let me bring him over here. And then I was able to work over here, and then I was able to work over here, and then word of mouth became I'm getting calls from Kyson Ass manager, so I could jump on that thing with I Show Speed or whatever. So yeah, like I owe a lot to Jimmy, but I also owe a lot of trauma and negative bullshit to Jimmy. And severance agreements were broken, and therapy was had. So again, we can get into your nitty gritty, but I feel like your nitty gritty is just getting into the weeds for the purpose of you saying being fair, which is fine. I want you to be fair. I just can't help but feel like it is scrutiny that I feel like is more better suited to the person with the money, all the power.
Yeah, the way it just comes across to me is that when it benefits you, then you will take the money from Mr. Beast. But when it doesn't benefit you,
no,
it's kind of like the classic.
Well,
here, 1 second. No. Well, the thing is that it feels like you're trying to only take the specific amounts that you feel like will be acceptable, that your audience will accept. Because if you took 190K, then your audience.
I care about my audience a lot.
Yeah, you care about how you care how you're received socially. You care about your reputation, and you want your credibility.
For my videos to be, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I want
people
to trust my opinion on stuff.
And you care about your credibility because you said in your previous videos, and the way that you earned your credibility was saying that every penny I make moving forward will be because I earned it. I don't want your money, Mr. Beast.
And you came across. You don't think I earned that 190? You don't think I earned that 300? Then you can suck a dick, brother.
I think if Mr. Beast paid him $50,000 and he did earn it, because it's not like a silencing amount of money. It's not like, oh, here's 50K, stop making videos, a cease and desist.
Here's
like
my problem. Money. This is my problem that at least I see is that when it benefits Cam Nuggets, he'll act like this badass who's just like, you know what, Mr. Beast, I'm gonna win this long game by being fucking honest. I'm not gonna take your money. I don't want your fucking money. And it's like the classic big punk rocker who then gets a contract from a big major label, and then even though they made even though they made your career based off of saying like fuck the establishment, fuck all these like big like major labels.
Yeah, no,
as soon as they get
Green Day sold out. I agree. I hate when Green Day sold out.
Can you chill? This could be a quick conversation.
I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to bring attention down.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Okay, dude. Just trying to get a thought out. So like that's the classic.
I have a delay.
Okay, that's the classic punk rocker thing. So they sniff a little bit of money from a major label, even though they got their whole reputation based off of fuck the establishment, and they instantly sign on the dotted line. And that's what it comes across to me as is that you got your reputation being on fuck Mr. Beast, fuck this fucking billionaire. You mentioned his money a lot of times. I don't want your fucking money. I'm gonna earn my platform because I earned it and because I'm honest. But then the minute you get a sniff of money, you instantly sell out. That's what it comes across as.
He isn't selling out
at all. I think you don't have a correct interpretation of the events, and that's okay. You almost understand it. You're just shy of it, and that's okay. It's okay.
So I would say that selling out is completely changing everything that you do. Going from a hardcore, rock band, whatever, to like
still dropping Beast bullshit. I'm still pop shit. Yeah, I'm still doing my shit.
So I think that if someone offers you $50,000, I think it'd be stupid
took
to not
the
take
Warner
it.
Brothers money and
I know,
kept
that's fine.
music. They wouldn't have sold out, but they took Warner Brothers money and made dog shit music.
It's fine if you want
in order
to.
for me not to sell out, I have to keep making the Dookie album.
That's fine if you don't want to take the money, but I feel like you have a decision that you have here, and this goes back to agency.
Yes, but I thought it very thoughtfully. Yeah.
Yes, you have a decision. So it's either take the 50K and it hurts your credibility that you build off of saying fuck your money, Mr. Beast, you can go fuck yourself, or
you take the hit to or you take the hit to your credibility and take the 50K, and it's fine. But I feel like I don't think it's justified to just say that, like, dude, I didn't even take the whole 190K, I only took 50K. Because I feel like that's a disingenuous way to represent it. What it comes across as is that you only took...
hurt my
Hold on,
credibility.
let me get the thought out and you can respond. I think
Go
the
ahead.
only reason you took the $50,000 specifically is because you know if you would have taken too much, then it would really hurt your reputation with your audience.
Well, I know people like you would have been a lot meaner.
Well, I think for a justified reason. I don't think I'm being mean. I think I'm being fair to all parties, but it's just me.
Well,
My critiques of this would be a stunning critique.
So do you, Lyrics, what are your
To your point, I
critiques?
think the hurt to my credibility would have come from me taking the money and then doing what Jimmy asked me to do, which was not post about it. Jimmy said, don't post about it. I don't expect you to post about this. And I posted about it anyway, to Jimmy's chagrin. So now that we're even having a conversation about him giving me any money at all. So if I took the money and then said nothing, yeah, my credibility would have tanked.
No, but
if
of course
I ran with
because
that
you
AI
felt
thing
that
that I
pressure.
got.
You felt that
All right,
pressure.
all right.
So of course...
Calm down.
Oh,
So Lyrics, do you
Wait, let me respond to what you just
understand-
said. So the reason that, of course, you're going to go public is because, as you just stated, you did feel that pressure. Because you know if you would have just kept quiet about taking this money, it would make you
Well, I
look
know how
really
it
bad in
works.
the future.
And again, if you watch
so
the video, the conversation me and Jimmy had was talking about how the implications of me and Jimmy both had a conversation about the implications of taking the money and then showing people if I took the money or not. And like we had a conversation about this. And so like, but I had this conversation with Jimmy, and now I'm trying to have it with you. So what I think. I have factored in where the people who are going to scrutinize me the hardest. I factored them in. I factored in people who are empathetic and humanistic people who just want to see me get what I deserve, which I appreciate. And I factored in how I think and how I feel and what I feel comfortable doing and what I need to do to survive. I factored in all of this over and over and over again. I called friends and family and agents, and this is not something that was taken lightly. And yeah, I put some creative zhuzh on it, and I try to put my own fucking comedy element to it because I'm trying to run a business myself over here. So I think your points are valid, and the more I try to answer your points, and the more we get into deeper and deeper and deeper weeds that just further call my shit into question and take blame off of Jimmy, it's a little annoying. So sorry if I'm getting a little
And
annoyed.
that is why I don't think Jake Weddle is a trustworthy source, and he should not be trusted whatsoever when it comes to this Mr. Beast case.
Lorix, however, was making some fair points in his argument. Later, Jake would go on to have a full-blown unhinged meltdown, which verged on the level of schizoposing on Instagram. Jake can no longer be trusted as his story consistently changes and many baseless accusations have been made towards Mr. Beast at this time.
I am sorry, but Jake the Viking from the Mr. Beast videos might be the biggest clown on the internet. This dude has spent months and months and months getting clout, getting attention by speaking out against Chris Tyson and speaking out against Mr. Beast, by virtue signaling online in fucking tweets every single day that Chris Tyson was a danger to kids. And there's nothing wrong with him speaking out. There's nothing wrong with him taking this position, because clearly he's right. But he's just doing this for fucking clout and attention, because now we find out his brother-in-law that he's defending, right, that worked for Mr. Beast, is a registered sex offender. Not allegedly, no, he was actually, oh my God, convicted of fucking around with a minor. And now we're not talking like 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. No, 11 years old or younger was the age of the victim. And this is his brother-in-law that he's defending that worked for Mr. Beast. So let's put this in context. When Jake the Viking is out here getting thousands of new followers, when he's out here getting millions of views on tweets saying, Jimmy knew. Now put it in context that the Viking knew too. The Viking knew too. Is he really out to help the kids, or is he just here to get some goddamn clout?
On to Jake the Viking. Jake the Viking started in Mr. Beast in 2018 and was a big part of the physical challenges that Mr. Beast would perform. He was a big, strong guy with the capability to smash cars and take on endurance tests, so he quickly became a favorite of the community. However, he would often appear less and less in videos until he left in 2020. His video is
If you're
here.
a Mr. Beast fan, you probably have noticed I have not been in the videos as of late. In fact, the last video I was in was Hide and Seek, second Hide and Seek video that was posted back January some date, where it was like the Hide and Seek for 60K. Last video I was in. Cool. And then after that, I was no longer asked to be in any videos. I was still on payroll, still getting paid. And I took that kind of, this is cool, I get to sit at home and get paid, but at the same time, what's actually going on, and everyone I talked to never really gave me any answers. And so all that went on till super recently, when finally I was able to meet down with a couple people and kind of put everything out on the table, and it came down to my piece no longer fit the puzzle.
However, his claims of there being no bad blood would change as Jake would post more on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, and even darker discussions about who was on the Mr. Beast crew came up when Jake spoke about his brother-in-law, Delaware, being a registered SO on child-related charges. Jake stated that he told Jimmy everything and even vouched for Delaware as seen here. Here's the truth. Yes, Delaware is my brother-in-law. Yes, he is a registered SO. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Delaware took a plea deal. That's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register. His nickname isn't Delaware because he can't go back to Delaware. He's from Delaware. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's been back several times. He was hired before I was, and was actually the reason I got hired at Mr. Beast. Before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy's mom, and explained to them everything. So yes, Jimmy knew. But again, this incident happened in 2010. Delaware was hired in 2017-2018. Delaware was also let go from the company before I was. Delaware was supposed to be a behind-the-scenes manager, but in a couple videos he was asked to partake because we need people. He was reluctant, especially in the straitjacket video because of his charges, and that's why he wore the mask. Delaware's charges are set to be dropped this fall. Delaware has been nothing but a good person, an amazing husband to my sister, and the best father to my 2 nieces that I could ever ask for. They want no part in this and just want to live their lives away from the limelight. I understand why anyone would be upset and frustrated over these allegations, and I do not blame them. Hurting kids in any way is completely unacceptable, but in the case of Delaware, I firmly believe he did nothing wrong and look forward to the day these charges are dropped. Thank you. Ava Tyson herself posted the conviction of Jake the Viking's brother-in-law, Delaware, which is a 4th-degree R-word with a victim less than 18 years old. However, not only would this spark backlash, but the fact that Jake stood against Ava Tyson for similar behaviors to Delaware would call his morals into question and thus would damage the trust with his community. We don't know if the claims are correct about Delaware being a registered SO. There is some pretty damning evidence to say the least, though. However, with the current investigation response from Mr. Beast, it seems like these things will not be addressed and have been decided as not true. However, that is up to the current viewer how you perceive things, as we cannot corroborate between the investigation and what Jake the Viking has told us. We must look at this with nuance and fair perspective. Personally, I do believe that there is some criminal activity here with hiring registered sex offenders as employees. Who is telling the truth here? Now on to Trey Yates. According to his LinkedIn, Trey Yates is currently an editor for Jacksepticeye as of October 2021 and worked for Mr. Beast as a production manager and editor from January 2020 until then. He has appeared on interviews as stating he was overworked under Mr. Beast and was working 45 hours a week, including holidays. As some of you may know, the full-time work schedule of the average American is 40 hours a week, and anything above that is time and a half or overtime. So my question is, for the average American, does this feel like extra work than what we go through? He was let go in 2021 after he did poorly on a production, and Jimmy had called the production team to give his criticisms. The ultimate reason he was let go is that during this, he clapped back at Jimmy, who was his boss. He also made claims that Adderall was passed around at work, which has yet to be substantiated by anything more than a joke and a screenshot. Larix again calls his behavior into question.
A new Mr. Beast ex-employee who was fired back in 2021 has come forward with their story and new allegations towards Mr. Beast and the company. This was shown by a channel called The Asher Show with nearly 600,000 subscribers. In his newest video, the Mr. Beast allegations just got worse, and so far, it's getting a lot of views and attention. This video has also been supported by Dogpack, retweeted on Twitter, as well as Rosanna Pansino, 2 of the main people going at Mr. Beast lately. But the ex-employee here coming out is actually Trey Yates, who has his own channel, as well as he's the editor for Jacksepticeye right now, and he alleges that Mr. Beast was giving him illegal work hours. Within the company, Adderall was being passed around to employees to work harder and finish their work quicker, and that even though Mr. Beast conducted an internal investigation, he says it was just to cover it up and that nothing ever came from it. And plenty of other things, so I want to take a look at this and see if there's legitimacy to what this guy is claiming. So he worked from November 2018 to the beginning of October 2021 for Mr. Beast, almost 3 years, and shifted in the positions of editor, post-production manager, production manager, and retention specialist in this time. So he starts off his story saying that, and then he gets into the unethical things that Mr. Beast was requesting of him, specifically the work hours.
The other editors would edit the videos and then send it to me via Frame. I don't know if you know what Frame is, like where you leave comments on videos and things like that. And they would send that to me, and I would stay up until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every single night, commenting on those videos on what needs to change. Like, I worked Thanksgiving, Christmas, my 30th birthday, 4th of July from, 2020 to 2021. I would go to bed at 3 or 4 a.m. and then get up at like 9:30 the next day just so I could drive back to the studio and then work on production stuff.
So from the sounds of it, yeah, you really got to be on your A game when it comes to working at Mr. Beast, and they are going to be long hours, and you're going to have a lot of commitment to work at the company. But if it's not the right fit for you and your lifestyle, that's completely fine. Then just search out another job and then work somewhere else. You aren't forced into keeping the job. And real quick thing, he says that it's illegal for Jimmy to work him 45 hours a week, but from everything I've seen and looked up, this just isn't true. I don't know what he's sourcing or citing here. An employer can work their employee for over 45 hours or 45 hours a week. The only requirements there are, and the only time that potentially we could be getting into illegal territory or unethical practices, is that when you do work someone over like 40 hours a week, which is the standard American work hours, there are some times where you have to pay overtime compensation. So there are requirements for that, but for some reason he doesn't address that part. So I would just want to get some more clarification there.
You know me, we've hung out before and everything. I just never complained about it because I just took the hits and then didn't say anything. But it speaks to the culture of the Mr. Beast company that's the way it is. You don't complain about your work. Right. You just do your job. Don't report it to Jimmy because Jimmy doesn't care. Jimmy never asked about how I was doing or anything because Jimmy is, quite frankly, a sociopath. So
right. He's a sociopath. Okay, this guy comes across as very vindictive towards Mr. Beast and has a huge bias, which unfortunately does hurt his testimony because it puts his words into question and what he's saying about Mr. Beast into question, if already he has such a big bias about him. And also, I don't get the weird line of saying that the CEO of the company, the boss, should check in on like my mental health and should check in how I'm doing, ask me how I'm doing. That's not really like the position there. That's not really his responsibility or job. His responsibility as boss is paying you and making sure like you get your work done. He isn't your therapist at the same time too. It's just like a weird request that again comes across as just bitterness. It's unfortunate because with people like this coming out, it muddies up the stories of genuine real victims and genuine real critiques and stories that you can have about Mr. Beast. So far, I don't really see any wrongdoing or a big deal here.
If he wants to hang out with you, it's definitely going to be money-centric. It's definitely going to be how he can benefit from you. Nothing is ever like, let's just have a good time, watch a movie or something. He's always going to be talking about work. He's always going to be wanting you to do something productive.
Earth-shattering news. My boss only wants to talk about work with me and the employees that he's paying a yearly salary to. He wants them to be productive.
I kept on telling Jimmy no to stuff, and he hated hearing that because he wants to be surrounded by yes men.
Right.
It's very telling of his personality. Would not surprise me if he's still that way because he never learned his lesson. Because everything is such a boys club at Mr. Beast.
Where's the critique here? Am I missing some like meta meaning and commentary on what boys club is? That boys club doesn't actually just mean boys. It means the concept of irresponsible boys. Is that what we're going for here?
One time during a Discord call during one of the gaming sessions, he mentioned that someone was acting very autistic, and I remember calling him out on that because I have autism. Whenever I did call him out on that, whenever I called him out on that, he just like shut down and didn't say anything. So not only does he talk like a gamer, he's also a fucking pussy. So
you, Mr. Beast, and a couple of guys were playing a game together, and Mr. Beast was saying, dude, you're acting so autistic. And you make a big stance about this. You say, dude, don't say that. I'm autistic. Don't insult someone else by saying that they're being autistic. Okay, you know what? If you want to have that standard for yourself, sure, that's fine. A lot of people would call that cringe. But regardless, if that's the way you want to live your life, and if you want to call out other people for doing that, that's your prerogative. But in the same breath, how are you going to insult Mr. Beast by calling him a fucking pussy when you got mad at him for calling someone else autistic?
Fucking pussy?
You're going to use a female's genitalia as a way to insult the way someone else is acting? Like, it's just like completely contradicting here. You can't in one breath get mad at someone for saying that they're being autistic and then use pussy as a way to insult Jimmy. He then goes on to tell the story how he was fired though.
I'll go ahead and tell you this story, the reason why I was laid off. Early October 2020, we posted a video, it might have been late September, I can't remember. We posted a video that was a Ubisoft partnership video for a Far Cry 6 sponsor. With the gaming channel, everything was a challenge video, but how do you make a challenge video out of fucking Far Cry 6? It was this video, first to raid island wins $100,000. We posted it, and Jimmy put me on a group call with the other leads at Horizontal. He was fucking
furious about it because like already it started tanking just so much.
So this guy was having difficulty putting together a good video for one of the Mr. Beast, it sounds like gaming channels or whatever, and because he found it hard to make a challenge in Far Cry 6 or whatever. So he was having problems, and then eventually, once they put together the final product, they uploaded it, and it severely underperformed. And obviously, being the boss, seeing that an employee has underperformed, Mr. Beast wasn't happy, so he got on call and chewing out his employee for doing a bad job. And this guy decides in the same conversation that he's getting chewed out for messing something up in his job, he decides to request for less hours and saying that he's actually going to work less.
And he was just like, why do we post this, blah, 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 every video needs the best video possible, Trey, this is all your fault, this is all your fault for posting a cringe video, we need to work more hours, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it was during that call that I was like, Jimmy, I'm not working more than 45 hours anymore. I'm not working Saturdays and Sundays anymore. I will continue working for you, but I'm not doing that. And he paused and he was like taken aback. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way, which is, how do you say that? Like the average work week for an American is 40 hours a week. How are you gonna say that to me? After that call, that lead called me and he was just like, sorry, we gotta let you go. I was crushed too. I was just like, I mean, what can be, we can change things. Like what can be done to change this? And he's just like, I'm sorry, that's just the way it has to be.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but is this not the most predictable firing that you've ever seen in your life? In the same call that you were getting chewed out for not doing a good job at your work, you decided it would be the grand time to say that, hey, I'm not actually gonna work harder, Mr. Beast. I'm gonna work less at this job. Most surprising firing I've ever seen in my life. And listen how offended and aggressive he is talking about this.
And Jimmy even had the fucking audacity to call me after that call and ask if I was okay. That was definitely another story that I wanted to get out there about why I was laid off from Mr. Beast. And I feel like that your channel is going to be like the big revelation on that, by the way. So hopefully that explodes in his face, because it is true, and that did happen.
So your intentions are for this to blow up in Mr. Beast's face. Like, you only are coming forward with your story right now because you want to fuck over the guy who fired you. This is the definition of a disgruntled ex-employee who has malicious intent just to fuck over his boss, because he felt like he was done wrong over just being fired over, like, the most obvious thing in the world. And why was he so aggressive talking about Mr. Beast calling him afterwards and asking if he was okay? Like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Isn't that, like, more to show that actually Mr. Beast was doing the right thing? That he called you afterwards and said, hey man, no hard feelings, but I just don't think it's a good fit. It's like, are you gonna be okay though? Are you gonna be able to land on your feet? Like, what's going on? What is the alternative that you suggest? Should Mr. Beast have not reached out to you at all and just left you in the dust? I feel like either way you would have complained about it. And Mr. Beast didn't even have the balls to reach out to me afterwards and have a one-on-one conversation. Either way, it would have been spun in the worst lights to make him look bad. So that was this guy's story. This guy's not a victim, and it's an insult to even assume as much, because it makes all the other legitimate people with stories look worse by muddying up the water of the allegations here. And also it gives less credibility to the other things he has to say. So that was his story, but aside from that, he gave some details about what he observed in the Mr. Beast company, and the most pressing thing is that Adderall was being passed around through the company for employees to work harder and longer hours. There isn't any 100% concrete proof of this, but this is this guy's testimony talking about it.
There was a time in summer of 2020, it might have been fall, where Adderall was being passed around the company. There were higher up employees that were offering it to other employees just so they could work all night and edit videos all night, so that way they could like stop complaining and stop sleeping. And it was investigated internally within the company, but how far does that go? Like, it did nothing. Like this whole thing lasted like a week. I remember James Warren had to be pulled out of the company story for like a week, and then the next week he was right back in. That's him admitting right there that like he is part of the crew that's passing around Adderall in the company.
So the most damning thing in these text messages, if they are real, is that this text message right here, CeeLo needs to join the Superhuman Adderall Task Force Delta team. Because the rest of these are like seemingly just come across as jokes that like this employee would be crazy on Adderall. Like he's already a hard worker, he would work even harder. You know what I mean? It comes across as jokes like that. But this is referring to some kind of like team that like sends it out or whatever, which could be a joke, but it also could not be, and it could be in reference to that team. Now, I wish there was like more hard-hitting evidence to prove this, aside from this kind of like vague DM. I feel like if there was like this Adderall team, it would get mentioned more, and employees would be mentioning giving out specific samples or some communication. Here's the thing, I just have to see more evidence to make a conclusive statement here, because this alone, I can't make a conclusive statement. But if it is true that that was happening in Mr. Beast's company, that's entirely unethical, and that is a good thing to actually bring up. It's unfortunate this guy already muddied up the waters, because if this is true, this is a legitimate story. He also tells this insane story of an FBI agent canceled a Mr. Beast video, where apparently there was a car crash, and the FBI agent ended up being a psychopath.
How there was I got hunted by an FBI agent video in 2021, and what people don't know is that that was the second time that was recorded. The first time that they recorded it, they didn't vet the FBI agent talent properly, and it ended up that that guy was a psychopath and bumped into the car that Ava and Chandler and all the other talent were in, and like made them drive off the road and crash. he bumped into the back of the car and made them crash. I don't know if it was into a ditch, I don't know if it was into a tree, but they crashed the car.
Like, okay, but yeah, that's a new ex-employee of Mr. Beast coming out with his story.
Now, he is Jacksepticeye's current editor, and honestly, it makes me worry about Sean and what would happen if Trey ended up fired by him for a similar reason. Would he lead a spearhead charge against the Irish YouTuber? We'll have to wait and see. Lastly, we need to get to the two people that have ruined any credibility as the spearheads and voices of any potential victims here. The two creators who have spit on the face of this entire case and could give Mr. Beast the biggest leverage he needs to nullify any controversy against him on an individual basis. Dawson, or Dogpack 404, was an employee of Mr. Beast who claimed he worked for Jimmy for 3 months. He made a very viral video, one of 3, going into how Mr. Beast was faking his videos, creating illegal lotteries, and rigging his games to where most of them were his friends and employees. Little did he know, the commentary community were eyeing this with heavy research and study to make sure that his proof was legitimate. It was discussed by Legal Eagle, a legitimate lawyer and YouTuber, how the legal system of lotteries work, and how YouTube as a platform affects what Mr. Beast is doing. He also goes over similar cases when it comes to supposedly rigged games and breaks down the information in a pretty concise manner.
Most jurisdictions define a lottery as having 3 elements: consideration, which is payment to participate; a prize, which must be something of value; and chance, which means that the winner is determined by luck. If all 3 of these elements are present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal, because lotteries in the United States are exclusively run by the government. Now, this is in contrast to what I'll generally call a contest, which is not based on chance so much as skill or intellect. And that's why it's generally legal to have a prize for a contest, even when there's an entry fee, because it's not based on chance and therefore does not constitute a lottery. Lotteries are distinct from sweepstakes and raffles, which are legal. Sweepstakes are games where a person is chosen randomly to win a prize, and sweepstakes participants do not give consideration to enter. Now, we'll talk more about this in a second, but the reason a sweepstakes is generally allowable in the context of buying something to enter is that there is an option to enter the same sweepstakes without a purchase necessary. And a raffle is an activity in which people buy tickets with different numbers, some of which are later chosen to win prizes. It's organized in order to make money for a good social purpose. And raffles are generally only legal when they're conducted by non-profits. So let's go back to the video that people are claiming is an illegal lottery. During a 2020 live stream, the Mr. Beast crew sold limited edition t-shirts that cost $42. The sign in the background says buy a shirt and I'll sign it.
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this.
So the parameters of the offer were that a fan buys an autographed t-shirt and they get the possibility of winning a prize. The winners were supposed to be chosen randomly at different intervals, but Mr. Beast changed the rules of the giveaway midstream.
They would say something like, buy in the next 5 minutes for a chance to win. And then 7 minutes later go, actually, the newest order in 30 seconds is going to win.
Dogpack says that during the 6-hour live stream, Mr. Beast offered 46 illegal lotteries with a retail value of over $47,000. Now, typically when you review the terms and conditions of a giveaway like this one, the first disclaimer you'll see is the statement, no purchase necessary. That's how you get around the lottery rules. You offer people a way to participate in the sweepstakes without having to purchase anything. Now, Mr. Beast's 6-hour live streams look a little sloppy. They're not like the Mr. Beast videos of today. The full video isn't available anymore, so we don't know whether there was a disclaimer in the video or in the description, but it does look like a purchase was required and there was no free way to enter. So in some jurisdictions, Mr. Beast probably would have been running an illegal lottery. And if true, he probably wouldn't be alone. This was frankly pretty common on YouTube back in the day. A lot of private companies have gotten in trouble for doing the same kind of giveaway. The Department of Justice concluded that the Ironman Triathlon organization conducted an illegal lottery by charging athletes $50 for a chance to compete in its world championship. So the World Triathlon Corp, which runs Ironman, also encouraged people to pay an additional $50 to purchase memberships in a club that would increase their chances of getting into the championship race. They didn't offer a refund to people whose entries weren't chosen and gave them no future credit towards registration for those that were chosen. And the company ran this promotion for decades between 1983 and 2015. But as a result, the company agreed to forfeit the $2.76 million that they had collected and cease the lottery practice. Now, we talked about the different elements of a lottery. You have to have the element of chance, there has to be a prize, but also the people looking to participate in the lottery have to offer consideration. Now, consideration for the purposes of lotteries is often construed narrowly. It does not need to include money. If a person has to make an effort to register, this can constitute consideration under the law. So for example, if you pay $42 for a t-shirt in exchange for the chance to win a prize, you've definitely provided consideration. And likewise, if you have to complete a long survey or make several trips to the store, many regulatory authorities Please also say that you've made a significant effort to get into a lottery. But not everything qualifies as consideration. If you mail a postcard to enter into a contest, the 50-cent postage does not count as consideration in most jurisdictions. So in another one of Mr. Beast's giveaways, he purchased 1,000 Samsung phones and gave them away randomly to people who subscribe to his channel. Now, whether this is an illegal lottery or a legal sweepstakes depends on whether the state law construes subscribing to the channel as consideration. Now, in North Carolina, where Mr. Beast is based, if the promotion includes a purchase, payment, or substantial effort, and is a game of chance resulting in a prize, then it's likely an illegal lottery. If it's non-monetary consideration, the person would have to make a, quote, substantial degree of effort for it to be considered consideration. In the past, substantial effort examples include attending an all-day sales presentation or going to a scavenger hunt. But simply watching a TV program or visiting a location one time was not considered substantial effort in North Carolina. So I could definitely see a North Carolina court saying that simply pressing the subscribe button does not qualify as a substantial effort. Mr. Beast is known for giving subscribers a chance to take part in his videos. And Dogpack takes issue with this, arguing that, quote,
So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to Mr. Beast, and oftentimes friends and family of Mr. Beast employees, or just the employees themselves.
And he highlighted some specific videos he says backs up his claims, specifically the video Boys vs. Girls for $500,000. He says the whole thing was rigged because the contestants weren't random subscribers.
Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend.
Chucky Appleby acknowledged that some of the players were friends or employees. Quote, the employees in the video were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID last minute right before filming. Thea, Jimmy's girlfriend, mentioned this on a podcast over a year ago. If it wasn't for COVID, they would not have been in it. They had the same money on the line as everyone else. And Dogpack also said that he received text messages from another Beast worker who said they had to rig the game so that the boys didn't win by so much.
According to a former Mr. Beast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were Mr. Beast employees who got out immediately, production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer.
There's absolutely nothing illegal about using friends or acquaintances in your videos. It doesn't necessarily follow that just because Mr. Beast might have known some of the people who appeared in his videos that he rigged the videos in their favor. Now, your mileage may vary as to whether it's a good or bad look to include friends in videos where there's money on the line. Now, arguably, you might conclude that if the video makes it appear that every contestant is random, and it turns out that that's not the case, then it makes it more likely that the outcome is rigged in their favor. Mr. Beast, after all, might want to patronize his friends. But you might also conclude that there is no connection between the identity of the contestants and the outcome. Now, I haven't reviewed every single Mr. Beast video. I have a life. Personally, I think this is probably closer to the truth.
Also, making note of the fact that a tweet went out from the Mr. Beast team about the fact that during the Boys vs. Girls video where Dogpack talks about Mr. Beast needing employees and that they're not just random subscribers, a good chunk of the people that were originally invited had COVID. On top of that, Dogpack himself is under a lot of flack because of the fact that it was found out from 2 cease and desist letters by Mr. Beast that he only worked there for 3 weeks, and his excuses for his behavior were that he was raised on an iPad and had bad mental health. Ultimately, there are pros and cons, and also the knowledge that YouTube is not a television or radio platform that must be weighed in to come at the argument of illegal lotteries and rigging with nuance. However, Dogpack did not stop here. He went on to interview Jake Weddle and has been on various interviews with people like Oompaville and The Asher Show, in which his statements contradict his actions on multiple occasions, as cited by Lyrics.
While we're here, I also wanted to point out, this is how confident he was in his video when he released it. Part 3, I kind of like the title Part 2.5. Before he even puts out this correction, he's already publicly talking about part 2.5. I'll probably unlist it when I post it. He's already talking about, prior to finding out he got stuff wrong, unlisting the video. Part 3, just so it has that clean aesthetic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought the reception would be worse. I didn't personally like it that much. I was considering uploading it. I didn't even like the video that I uploaded. I was gonna upload it on somebody else's YouTube channel. Someone else's channel or something, but I mean, crazy post-talk rationalization. Crazy seeing the criticism and pivoting and changing. Interesting. It's good information. It's just not as entertaining, and it's right. Does a broad YouTube audience care about Mr. Beast's COO? Probably it's just because they don't care about the subject matter. Oh, okay. So let's talk about. Let's see. I actually found this part really interesting. So Oompaville asks him how you vet your content. When do things start to get a little crazy? How do you vet your things and decide what you want to put in? And the example that he picks here is completely staggering.
I'm not sure why the straight is important there. I mean, I guess because he's not gay. I'm not sure, but he did have a male straight. I don't know what's going on, really.
Anything non-consensual to your knowledge? I heard he got in trouble for hooking up with his 18-year-old straight assistant, but the company kept it quiet from what I heard. He's a producer and
multiple employees.
Oh, Hold on. No, that's not the one. I need a timestamp. Fuck. It's let's see. Let me see. Vet? Is that it?
Them out, but you also have to vet them because it's like it's also potentially some life ruining allegations. There's like
Okay, he understands the severity. What could those be?
a lot of stuff. that
Like, for example,
I don't
Jake
feel comfortable
Weddle,
putting out
yeah, I
because
know you
it's
said,
so
disgruntled employee. This is where he talks about how Jake Weddle said he doesn't like Mr. Beast, and most people would say cut that out, but
damaging, and there's just like
yeah.
even though people can corroborate them, you're getting into like claims of underage people. And
Did put in is very
No, let me see.
he doesn't like me. I don't like him either. Oh, I hate
This
you.
is
You
it,
should
yeah.
cut that because it hurts credibility.
Hurts credibility, there it is.
Yeah, but it's kind of honest to his motives, so I left stuff like that in. Rumors obviously spread. So like in the last video, I show one message where it's like, LaQuaya Hill roofied multiple people. I'm like, I haven't heard that from anyone else, so potentially a rumor.
Dude, what the fuck? Why is that your example? If you thought it was a rumor, why did you pad it right in the middle of 7 other people's statements? What is wrong with you? Are you fucking out of your mind? Are you crazy? Why? If you scoffed at it and called it a rumor, why the fuck did you run that next to other people you thought were being real?
Video, I show one message where it's like, LaQuaya Hill roofied
This is a reckless disregard for the truth. And if you disagree, you're insane.
multiple people. I'm like, I haven't heard that from anyone else, so potentially a rumor. So there's stuff like that.
Didn't he use it for the vid? Yes! He's saying it's potentially a rumor, and he ran it anyway! That's nuts!
So, could be true, could not be true. I'm not going to claim it's true.
yeah. Yeah, it's all alleged.
Yeah.
And then he talks about the freedom of information request. Again, this is all before he finds out that he fucked up the video. That's why he's so keen to take it down at this point.
Registry, what it is, you have to submit. It's just that there's 6 court cases, which could be traffic violations, could be DV related, but it doesn't say on the public registry what it is. So you have to submit a freedom of information request, which then takes like 2 weeks. So that's the real reason. But then,
Okay.
Yeah, what was the other part of that question?
How do you know the Greenstone Ventures Ponzi scheme?
Thanks for pushing him on that one, Opaville. I really appreciate your I appreciate your contribution to this. So he made a very, very easily identifiable mistake, and it blew back and it hit him. And honestly, if it didn't hit him, nobody would have criticized this. Everyone would be calling me crazy for pointing out how he ran a fucking allegation like that without being able to check it when it's such an easy thing to wait for. That's actually what I heard. I lied about hearing that he was good. I just wanted to fucking throw that out there before I sit here and completely shit on
I
him.
made it in that video sound like there was only one LaQuaya victim, which was the most corroborated, which was his personal assistant. But now I'm thinking there's multiple.
This guy stole technicals his entire flow. Holy shit.
In my opinion, he's a textbook abuser, verbally abusing, berating, screaming at people in the office. A lot of abusive treatment of employees.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the
In the office, a lot of abusive treatment of employees.
Dude, you made that whole intro in After Effects, and then you just had random text subscribe fucking fling into the screen.
Screaming at people in the office. A lot of abusive treatment of employees.
What the fuck? Okay, whatever. I'm sorry.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Asher Show. Dawson, or Dogpack404, a YouTube channel that spawned out of the blue on June 15th, 2024, and that dropped a bombshell of a video
Sunny V4 editing based.
a month later. I work for Mr. Beast. He's a fraud. Ever since then, there's been a tremendous amount of commentary channels and news outlets keeping up with his uploads because he has been telling the behind-the-scenes horrors of Mr. Beast's empire, a subject that was briefly discussed before but fell on deaf ears. Ex-editors like Matt Turner were met with backlash back in 2018 for
Because he sucked. Alright, let's get to the conversation. Hey!
these allegations are starting to change their tune. People saying that he's pushing false allegations to 2 million people. Others saying that he should have waited to come out with a 3rd video. So I decided to speak with Dawson directly and try and clear up some of the questions that people may have had and uncover some new allegations. I thought we could talk and clear some things up. You reached 677,000 subs, 30 million views in only 3 videos. In the first video,
I thought we can clear something up. So you got a lot of views, man! You got a lot of views, man! Good start.
You reached 677,000 subs, 30 million views in only 3 videos. In the first video, you covered selling gambling to kids and fake videos. The second was the Jake Weddle experience, and then Jimmy hiring a retro sex offender. And the third was about the CEO and the COO, Jim Warren and LaQuaya Hill. So what was your original goal with these videos?
I just came out here and I just wanted to do the right thing. I was like a local bystander. I'm out investigating.
No, it was originally going to be very different, and then it's just going to be the knowledge that I had and accrued through my research. And I was going to cover philanthropy and all this other stuff. I mean, my goal was just to shine light on the things that I thought were problematic and I brought up as being problematic during my time at the company. And even before the company, like, people found my old Reddit account with like comments about them promoting gambling or whatever.
His old Reddit account was where he wanted to be with XQC, so he organized his shit to go that way, and then he kind of got banned from XQC's community, so he went for Mr. Beast, or I don't know if that's the correct order of events, but when he initially got brought on, he was pitching videos, like video ideas, like how to make things more viewable for children, which is insane with his recent takes. They don't line up. Watch Cope and Seethe. I think, Beckett's did a really good job there.
For like not doing the sweepstakes properly, which I thought was shady. And then I brought those problems up at the company. As I felt like I felt like a waiter on the Titanic being like,
He brought those problems up at the company. Again, he worked there for like 3-4 weeks.
yo, iceberg. And they're like, no, there's no iceberg. So I just thought it would.
Like he was basically an intern. He was brought on like trial contract, and he didn't even make it 1/3 of the way through, or he literally just made it 1/3 of the way through, depending.
It would turn into, if it kept escalating, or if they kept doing these.
I find it so hard to believe a lot of this stuff now, because he kind of let us believe he was there for the full 90 days. At least that was my perception. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, what am I gonna do?
Practices, I guess, that it would turn into a Logan Paul situation or David Dobrik
Yeah.
situation. So originally I was trying to like help the company, but then I posted that first video about
What's happening? Hold on, let me check something real quick.
my biggest issues with the company, which was promoting gambling and selling fake signatures and faking videos, and just like the lengths they go to say that the videos are real when it's like they're totally not. It's just bullshit to me.
Oh god, he used CGI on the train.
And then I was going to talk about crypto and Flint.
I don't know what the fuck is happening. We're good.
Whatever, and then Jake Weddle reached out and he's like, hey, I have a story. And he gave me the news of the registered sex offender, so I was like, holy shit, let's cover that.
Dude, Jake Weddle contributed one good thing to this investigation.
I also had DMs after I posted the first video about some like sexual assault stuff, which I also heard rumored at the company during my time.
Oh, I just realized we're back on YouTube. That's the problem. I thought we were on fucking Edge. Okay.
There. But I thought
we were back on. We're on Chrome again.
It's gonna be like sort of the Lakoya thing and maybe a couple other instances. But after that video, I got hundreds of DMs, and not all of them were real. Like probably 30% of them were either trolls or, possibly Jimmy's crisis management team trying to muddy the waters. So yeah, I wanted to cover that, but then there's like big moral dilemmas with covering things without
There you go.
and others, and it was all just allegations.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to people were like, hey, this is happening, and you should talk about it, so I talked about it.
So after your second video, it seemed like everybody had their eyes on you. People were saying, oh, you see shadow banned and YouTube's watching you, and Instagram banned you for some reason, even though you were only using it to
I don't care about this.
pretty
I think it's pretty
lawyer to try and
I want to hear the stuff about what matters.
create since.
it definitely isn't real.
Yeah, there was one really strange one. I can send you the screenshots of it. It's from this account, Linda Smith, which was created in August, followed no activity, which, people want to reach out to me anonymously, they can create a new account, that's fine. And it's under an alias, but the alias wasn't just a complete troll account, which I later found out. They started messaging me about the Lakoya stuff, saying that it was consensual. And what I found out from other people is that when they did the internal investigation at Mr. Beast, they determined it was consensual. But like I said in my video, if they wanted to go that route, I would have new evidence to say that it wasn't consensual. And I can send you some stuff. I don't know.
Why is he just sending people things willy-nilly? That's my question. Why is he... If this guy is the master of information, I shouldn't be able to pull a screenshot out of him. And that's something we're going to see here in the DMs, where he legitimately asks me, can I tell you something 100% off the record and you can't spread it anywhere? And I had to stop him and say, that's horrible. Why would you do that? I've done nothing but talk shit about you. Why would you just give me something extremely important privately? It makes no sense.
I have to get it approved by people
Yeah.
in that case, see, I don't know if I can say this, but I've spoken to the victim, but the victim was trying to get hush money, which I supported fully. But what Mr. Beast, I guess, wanted was for him to say it was consensual, and I have a recorded phone call with him where he's talking about that. I mean, you'd have to distort his voice and everything to use that.
All the call logs, employment verification, and metadata were confirmed. Wow. Wait, this guy just gave some random dude the guy's Was this what he was going to send me? We're just giving this shit away? Holy shit, dude. That's nuts. What? It's Zoom from The Flash.
To add to this section here,
What the fuck is that?
not only did the victim say
Dude, that's how Josh wanted me to respond.
sexual misconduct from the COO Lakoya Hill wasn't consensual.
It's Mama Max.
I personally spoke with another anonymous ex-Mr. Beast employee who was close with the victim, and they said I could share this to corroborate that story. Approximately how long did you work for Jimmy for? 2022 to 2023, when I was wrongfully terminated, and I asked, regarding the Lakoya Hill allegations of sexual misconduct, I wanted to ask, if given your closeness to the victim, you can confirm whether the altercation...
Now you see the drug thing is here. So all this tells me, and we'll see it in a second, When Dogpack published the allegation of drugging, he had no idea. Because he said it was a rumor in his post-video talk with Oompaville. And he just ran it. And now he's finding out. This is the opposite of the James Warren thing. He's now found corroborating testimony for the drug allegations. He ran it anyway.
Is this consensual based on your knowledge? The interaction with LaKoya was non-consensual.
It's crazy.
It's hard to consent.
Like, it's obvious that when he made the video, he didn't have any of this shit.
When the person was being drugged without their knowledge.
He's fucking just firing on all cylinders, just deploying any shots that'll land. He's being fucking fast and reckless for a situation that doesn't actually need, like, any of this. This makes no sense, bro.
Yeah, that account was like...
There's no justification for it.
Should talk to.
You have all the time in the world.
And then I said in response, oh, he won't talk to me, because that's what we wanted them to believe, because they get the hush money.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I said that, the account stopped responding. And then it was like, oh, hey, can I post this thing about James Warren, and post your side of the story or whatever?
Yeah.
And this is an account that, like, didn't want to spread rumors and all this stuff, and they didn't like, give me permission to respond after that, so I thought that was very suspicious.
So Linda Smith was definitely a false actor.
Yeah. In my opinion, definitely somebody who had insider information. They wouldn't send total proof that they worked there, but they clearly had insider information. I think it's like probably for plausible deniability.
Mm-hmm.
They probably erased the account off their laptops or whatever, but I think there's a definite possibility that was, his crisis management team.
Right. Dexerto, reputable source, as we all know. Mm-hmm. They tweeted. And
Dude, this was a disaster. Of course they're gonna dunk on this. Fucking Dexerto published 2 articles that just were completely false about Dogpack, to the point where I, someone who does not like Dogpack, had to openly defend him publicly because it was just insane how much misinformation they spread. Watch this headline. YouTube Dogpack retracted his domestic violence accusation against Mr. Beast. Well, you could say it's the company, but a company can't domestic violence somebody. This is just brutal. If you look at the article, the nice person who wrote it didn't write it that way. It's just the asshole social media team.
But Dogpack 404 retracted his...
Like, it's so crazy we're covering bad journalism with legitimate journalism that's bad.
Domestic violence accusations against Mr. Beast. But the article is still up, but they deleted the tweet.
Good, because the article was fine, I think. I don't remember anything bad in it.
What claim was it that you made, and why did they think that you retracted it?
The domestic violence allegations against Mr. Beast have not come out yet.
Right.
Yet.
There's against his CEO and cousin James Warren, and there was a multitude of allegations, one of which was that it was more than a rumor, but it circulated the office where apparently some person had actually found...
You know what's really fucked about this? Is so much of this stuff is based off of office testimony, and now this guy has to confront the harsh reality that the water break conversations at Mr. Beast aren't always accurate information, even if a lot of sources are coming to tell you the same thing. The way he talks about LaKoya Hill is the same way he talked about James Warren. Well, a ton of employees corroborated the fact that James Warren was charged. Ooh, that's bad.
Charges
that looks really bad on the rest of his work.
Filed against James Warren. Now I reached out to the person who multiple people corroborated as the original source of that information, try to get the charges, and they wouldn't respond to me. But if I had to guess now, I assume that they had the wrong James Warren, because there's a lot of James Warren in Carolina.
Yeah.
Which I made pretty transparent in my video.
No, you didn't. You're a fucking scumbag, and you're trying to dance around it. And you know that your credibility has been fucked for this. And the thing is, like, there are still millions of people who are watching this video who have no idea, because you didn't even update your video. You didn't make an apology. You didn't make a fucking video retraction on the platform you did it on. So for the most part, I guess your audience doesn't really care. It's the people who are keen and watching it on Twitter who actually give a shit about the situation. The people who are going to report on this stuff are the ones who know that you fucked this whole thing up and you're dancing around it. Little rata.
I think. But yeah, I retracted just the allegation that I don't think he has charges that were filed against him. Now, they could have been expunged, they could have been out of state. It's kind of interesting to see.
Oh my god, the coat, bro.
Yeah, these Dexerto and Keemstar run with like, oh my god, Dogpack lost all credibility. This allegation was fully debunked.
Dude. Which one is it? Is it this one? Fuck. Although public perception has justifiably turned on me, that video accomplished a lot as far as getting more people to come out. I refer everyone to the documentary crew now, since my credibility has obviously tanked, and I will continue to do so when Mr. Beast responds. This guy is a fucking rat, dude. This guy is a fucking rat! No fucking rat!
That were filed against him. Now, they could have been expunged, they could have been out of state. It's kind of interesting to see, like, yeah, these Dexerto and Keemstar.
Hey, look at his little whiskers!
Run with like, oh my god, Dogpack lost all credibility. This allegation was fully debunked. And it's
what did Dogpack think about this? Oh wait, I lost all my credibility. Oh, Jesus. Oh no. Oh boy, this is brutal. Oh.
Well, what's your source for it being debunked? Is it my tweet? And like, yeah, the domestic violence allegations in general, I don't think are debunked.
It's just your shit research that was predictably bad, that everyone warned you not to do, that is now reflected negatively across all of your coverage. When you're talking about testimony, that's the most important thing, is your credibility, sir.
And yeah, I've spoken to more people. It's like the moral dilemma. Like,
do you wait and post good information, or do you risk it for absolutely no reason because you're a rank amateur? Fuck off, dude.
You know, if you can't say anything, don't say anything.
Yeah.
In that third video, you were saying a lot of things were alleged. The people were mad, saying that you didn't have that much evidence and that you should have waited to drop it. And that seems to be half of the audience. Half of the audience were like, "It's good."
Oh, I'm sorry. I was watching him choke on that dick. You know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry.
Half were like, "You were too quick with this." So you issued a statement that kind of cleared up a lot of it. And people, Keemstar was the very first top person who even commented laughing. Roughly what you said in your statement. "I'm not a professional journalist or investigator. My goal is just to bring up credible allegations to light so that they can be properly investigated and people can be held accountable. I still believe there are other credible allegations involved with James Warren that need to be investigated." So to clear up to the skeptics out there, what do you actually know that you can say?
To the people who actually give a shit about the story and aren't mindlessly consuming information that is ultimately going to be thrown back in their face in a Mr. Beast response video, yes. To the skeptics out there.
Hey, right now about James Warren.
They want us to chat. They want us to be monsters. They want us to be we're bad people because we're asking relevant questions. We're bad people because we're questioning the mob that is providing tons of unverifiable garbage in between some really salient points, some really valuable points. We're bad people for it, chat.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think he's a textbook abuser. I think if you talk to any...
In my opinion on it. Bitch, you, like, what are you talking about? In my opinion on it. Dude, this guy's whole thing is allegedly, don't sue me. And this guy's, now he's just, okay, sick.
Employees.
Now it's your allegation.
Ask them about James Warren, like, they'll give you stories of him just verbally abusing or berating, screaming at people in the office. And then, yeah, I mean, there's certainly rumors of, you know, him doing abusive things with his domestic partners. I mean, his girlfriend's like half his age. He apparently keeps her on a monthly allowance. And yeah, I just think...
We're just dropping details here. We're just dropping it.
Even like the wider scope of how Mr. Beast operates, it just seems, with him as the head, it seems,
we're at 1.5 right now, I think.
Yeah. A lot of,
no, it's 1.
Abusive treatment of employees, I guess.
Right, and these are from like the accounts that you've heard from people that reached out to you and told you this specifically.
Yeah. And there's stories of like Jimmy throwing his phones at people. And
I can't believe Flamenco is fucking running this op right now. Alright, that's a little mean. He's not Flamenco.
Get 2-year severance because they just have money.
I think I'm gonna end the stream on like a psychotic Flamenco tweet.
Below, and then obviously those people, severance isn't paid all out.
He's 20 and she's 10, right? I don't know, dude. That would be a big story. Let's see if Dogpack reveals
once, so they can't publicly say anything because that would be a breach of the termination agreement, which you have to sign to get the severance, and then you'd lose out on, you know, a year and a half of income or whatever's left. So a lot of these people, they will speak eventually. And now there's like, you know, documentaries and stuff around getting them to speak, but it's like, all Mr. Beast has done with these severance packages is just buy their time, and they know that.
And they don't want to speak on the record because then they will lose their severance essentially.
Yeah, which is why I can't give any like specific stories.
Because it will name, basically like unnamed name somebody.
Yeah, because the company would know still the names.
Also, after speaking to Trey, I'm hearing a lot about the COO, LaQuoya Hill. You said you had new info on him. What is it?
Yeah, this is a really interesting thing about that third video is, a lot of it was allegations, of course, which I feel like I was pretty transparent, and I threw like plenty of disclaimers that people, I guess, avoided completely.
People avoid the disclaimers. Just because you fucking put a Hail Mary in between things that could be seen as legitimate, and you might have got lucky this time. You didn't get lucky with James Moore, and you might have got lucky this time. You're putting people at a disadvantage. All those people who are putting their trust in you, you're putting at a disadvantage. And you're throwing it in our face because you've done bad research.
To come to the conclusion that I was
scumbag.
Making like factual statements. And like I myself don't believe the allegations are 100% true. Obviously, they're just...
Oh, that's something you want to hear.
Testimony. If I thought it was 100% true, then it'd be a fact, not an allegation. But one of the allegations that I thought was less credible was that LaQuoya Hill roofied people. I was like, I was very borderline for putting that in. But since I published that, it's been more corroborated, and someone sent me a BuzzFeed article, which I'll send you, that literally quotes LaQuoya talking in the context of a date rape drug. And BuzzFeed's obviously not the most credible, but I think the drug is called like GHB.
GHB, yeah.
Yeah, and there's other, you know, like BBC called it the rapist's weapon of choice. Like, I guess, yeah, it's a specific date rape drug where it's...
What? Wait, what is this?
Someone sent me a BuzzFeed.
The responsible high, that is also a rape drug, okay? Some attribute its comeback to the mainstream rise of electronic dance music. Socialite LaCoya Hill cites the unique work hard, play hard nature of San Francisco's gay nightlife. He said people who go out and spend money on San Francisco work 9 to 5s. They take their careers seriously. I'm seeing this for the first time. Many men frequenting these parties are very deliberate in how they want to let themselves lose control. If you think about a room of 1,000 people, half of them are doing drugs. The fact that the party could go without incident is not what we're taught. Hill said, explaining that drunk people at his events are always more difficult to deal with than those on GHB or other party drugs like ketamine and MDA. A lot of people here are responsible. They do research on side effects. So that makes it, again, I'm not going to defend this guy. I don't know what he did or if he did anything. I just don't know if this is the smoking gun. So he knows what drugs are.
And BuzzFeed's obviously not the most credible, but I think the drug's called like GHB.
GHB, yeah.
Yeah, and there's other, like BBC called it the rapist's weapon of choice. Like, I guess, yeah, it's a specific day rape drug where it gets out of your system and like.
Isn't this because he ran nightclubs? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like he was big in the whole nightlife of. I don't know. I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world.
8 hours, so like you sleep it off, and then victims couldn't like go to
I'd have to look
the
at
hospital
that
and get tested.
Yeah.
I posted that video with the roofie allegation. I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure. I went on Upaville's channel and I was like, yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. And then people have reached out to me and
so he just admitted it. He posted the video. He had no idea about the roofie thing. He went on Oompaville. He had no idea about the roofie thing, and then he got lucky.
It gets out of your system in like 8 hours.
He didn't just do this with James Warren, okay? And that one was worse because it was verifiable. He could have found it. It was online. The nature of it is it's online. He also did this with LaCoya Hill, which is his second biggest topic behind the fucking Jake Weddle allegation that they hired a registered sex offender. This is the second most important thing he's discussed across 3 videos, and he's playing fast and loose with it for no reason.
So like you sleep it off and then
his whole thing is I post videos so people give me more information. Good. You had more than enough to go forward. You didn't have to put a rumor in your video.
Victims couldn't like go to the hospital and get tested.
Yeah.
I posted that video with the roofie allegation. I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure. I went on Upaville's channel and I was like,
this guy should not be leading this. This is nuts.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. And then people have reached out to me, and it was actually consistent with certain victims' stories, I guess, from people close to the victim, or the victims. Which is another thing, is like, I made it in that video sound like there was only one LaCoya Hill victim, which was the most corroborated, which was his personal assistant, but now I'm thinking there's multiple, and the reason he got moved recently from Mr. Beast to become the president of Creative Global was not because my video came out. It was because there was another incident, which I know names of the incident, but like they're people who still work at Beast, so that makes it tough also. It's like, so they're not gonna talk to me and confirm anything. So, but eventually I think that information will come out.
So, do you ever think that Jimmy's ever gonna respond to any of this?
Oh yeah, definitely eventually. I mean, it's like, do I want to push him and sort of force his hand and make him respond and then address his response? And
no, I want to talk about this for 8 months straight. Maybe you should just make one good video instead of 3 dog shit ones. Or sorry, 2.5 dog shit ones. You could take the 3 videos that he's put out and make a real compelling 20-minute video that would be, like, brutal. It's just, this guy has no idea what he's doing.
Obviously, when he responds is when there's going to be the highest level of visibility, so you want to have the most new evidence against him, which is what I'm kind of like stacking up right now. Or do we want to wait until, like, mainstream media is involved, and then it looks, worse that he hasn't even responded yet?
Yeah.
Yes, you should do that. You should stand down and let mainstream media take it over. I'm wrong. Wait for mainstream media, bro, 100%.
Seems like you're keeping a lot of stuff close to your chest.
It's just not me, like, just, I'm going to withhold this information, I can help people or whatever. It's like, I refer people to other people, and like I think let's wait for the documentaries and whatever for people to fully come out.
Yeah,
that's my theory.
I saw a lot of people saying under my tweets saying that things were left out to fit a narrative, but like you said, you're waiting, you're talking with people, you're trying.
Hey, jackass! It wasn't left out. He accused James Warren of fucking animal abuse offhand. There was nothing even connected to that, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he abused his animals. You can't just say shit like that.
That things were left out to fit a narrative, but like you said, you're waiting.
What narrative? What is the paper trail behind abuses his dog?
You're talking with.
Is he like the Haitian that's eating the cats in Ohio?
People, you're trying to go about it in a way that it comes out properly, which makes sense. And now that some people are picking up in
God, glaze some harder, please.
So nothing is being withheld.
You could always do more research and build the case a little bit better, which
No, you could do basic research. This is not more research. You put in freedom of information requests and then backed off and ran. And then you didn't back off. You just pushed the video forward, then you backed off and ran. You just have to do the basic information, like the basic research.
Right. Outside of the 3 videos, was there anything that you wanted to share, let out that you weren't going to talk about?
This guy will talk to anyone about me except for me publicly on stream. It's insane.
Your 4th video? I'm assuming this is going to be your 4th.
Working with a lot of different YouTubers, like giving them information.
I feel like all your time is being spent reading DMs and going through messages and putting things aside.
I had the same way I had a LaCoya document, I had a James Warren document. But I was just like screenshotting shit I wanted to use, putting it in the document, and I tried to go back like 15 days later and be like, hey, can I use this or whatever?
Yeah.
Like 70 accounts are inactive because they were Beast employees, and apparently I started downloading people's hard drives. And another thing's like, oh, my Instagram just got deleted, so I can't ask any of those people for permission. And so I was like, I don't know what can be on or off the record. And that's the hardest thing is like, I have so many conversations.
Why don't you give it to somebody who can do this better? Why are you doing this?
And I tell everyone at the beginning of the conversation, I won't use anything without your explicit permission.
Yeah.
Then there's like things where I don't have explicit permission, but
I would kill for this guy to get interviewed by Destiny. Holy shit, would I love that.
it's like corroborated by like 9 people.
Put this guy on anything else. I want to hear what they have to say.
It's like, oh shit, can I say this?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. Like, what can I say? What can I not say? So I just handed everything off, my entire investigation off to like journalists and stuff.
Rosanna is doing some heavy lifting right now.
That's a problem when the dumbest person involved is doing heavy lifting. The fucking hide-and-seek champion. Holy shit. That's just... Dude, it's... That surprise witness, crazy. Jake Weddle, unfunny. Rosanna, schizophrenic. And fucking Dogpack, doesn't do research. That's the fucking goon squad for the story. I'm at a loss here. You know they're like real people, right?
She's getting in contact with people. She's sifting through a lot of messages, and she's going to be making another video, I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be a one to watch, I imagine.
And you've been speaking with her, and even Rosanna's partner has been helping other people focus their thoughts so they can come out with something new, which...
I've been having dinner with Rowan Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, nicest people ever.
Yeah.
Can't say enough good things about them. Yeah, they've been like inviting other Beast employees over, and yeah, I think they'll definitely be coming out with a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, she was wronged in the past, like last October.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody believed her when she was saying certain things about her experience at Beast. Nobody really
Thanks, those people were awesome.
did that except for H3. And now that things are slowly coming out, mainly due to you, she's getting a little bit of retribution.
They're afraid of public backlash, and obviously Rosanna Pansino, she's a huge star, and for her to come out
Where?
and do this exclusive interview with us, it took her a lot of courage as well.
It took her a lot of courage. Yeah, she was not chomping at the bit to get on and talk about Mr. Beast. She's very quiet about him. She doesn't like to talk about him a lot.
Yeah, in October, her entire experience was just diminished to be like, oh, you got edited out of a hide-and-seek video, and it's like, it's not what it was at all. It was like,
Yeah, it was.
Like, production people telling seekers, oh, hey, Rosanna's in this room, you should go find her now, so that Logan Paul can be top 3.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's for $1 million, and it wasn't for charity, it was to give to fans, which, I believe Zach King made 2 highly monetized, highly viral videos, so it was definitely a career incentive, and yeah, it should just be like, yeah, if you're in a competition for $1 million and people are cheating, that should be called out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's very controversial. And then after she called it out, she got, very real death threats. I don't want to speak for her, but like...
Her main issue is that they took her position that was still losing out. And then when the way she described it when she talked to me and talked to Keem was that she told all of her friends she came in like second place for a Mr. Beast championship event or whatever. Like what was she, like a really fast runner if they were giving all these rooms away? How did she get away? That she like got her whole family out. And none of them believes her or something, or she was embarrassed in front of them, all of them, because they changed the order to make more valuable creators, I guess, place higher in the VOD. That was her big issue at the time.
A hypothetical example would be like,
that was the one she told us.
Hey, I know your niece.
Third place?
Soccer game at this location tomorrow. Here's a picture of a gun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come kill your family.
That's terrible.
Like, not just like what I did.
When receiving DMs from anonymous employees, he seems to not care enough to do research past what is handed to him. For example, he claims James Warren, supposedly the CEO of Beast Productions, was involved in DV and fraud cases in Greenville, North Carolina, but states, quote, there seem to be many James Warrens in NC with DV cases, end quote. But instead of waiting for the Freedom of Information Act requests, he posts the videos anyway, only updating his audiences and YouTube descriptions and Twitter posts. This will be a recurring issue for him, as this is where he begins to read very much like Mama Max, and he mentions random accusations like James Warren beating his dog, which is similar to how Bo Blacks called Destiny a predator when reading a harmless joke between Destiny and Courtney, who is a known friend of the commentary community, as far as I'm aware from my Nick Deorio reactions.
So this is where Josh got mad at me, and then would ultimately go on to exploit at me later. Josh insinuated that Destiny was a pedophile. Now, the Destiny debate that happened with Josh years ago, 2019, okay? 5 years ago, the debate that Destiny had with Bo Blacks, still to this day, ripples through this community. Okay, I am still feeling the aftershocks to the earthquake that was that fucking debate. Okay, because it broke Josh's brain. All right, don't ever tell Josh that you think that debate didn't age as well as anybody else did at the time, because that is a major point of contention. So the reason that we had an issue with this, and I'll tell you what I told him, but there was a tweet that went out, Destiny outed as a literal pedophile. If you can see here, this is Courtney. Courtney is someone we know. I will get to that in a second. And it's Destiny talking about bending Courtney over her little tykes. Okay, a random person, I don't know who the fuck Ray is, accuses Destiny of being a pedophile of out of context joke messages. And then Josh pushes that tweet as, is this why he defended Mr. Girl, despite the fact that he openly and proudly proclaimed his sexual attraction to minors? This is okay, I guess, for idiots, like people who don't know Destiny, to take the screenshot out of context and use it. But it's not okay for Josh, because Josh knows Courtney. We know Courtney. She's like around the community, okay? We defended her against Alberto like 8 months ago. You know Courtney. You can't do that. So that's what I was saying to him. Like, listen, I understand if a total random reads this DM, it looks horrible. Okay, but you have to know the context. It's Courtney. What do you think he's gonna? Destiny's gonna Courtney, you think this is a real fucking tweet? So, Josh has an autistic fixation on Mr. Girl, and partly justifiably because Mr. Girl said horrible
I
shit.
added that clip of Nick Deorio's video for context. Dogpack peppers the word allegedly throughout his videos to save his hide as well, which sounds eerily similar to how Nux Taku spoke about Bungo Taiga to Moist Critical. We'll get back to Dogpack in a moment. For those who don't know, Rosanna Pansino is a well-known baking YouTuber who makes pastries and desserts based on various games and pop culture. Her most well-known contents used to not only be her collaborations with Markiplier and other gaming YouTubers, but her Nerdy Mummy series. So how does she fit into all of this? Well, it all started with a contest. In December 2021, Mr. Beast launched a massive hide-and-seek contest with the prize being 1 million. Content creators from all over the YouTube space were invited to join. Rosanna was one of them. One of the rules was that a contestant couldn't hide in unreasonable places, such as the ceiling or under floorboards, for example. It was held in a massive stadium. LaRae was originally going to get second place, but ultimately fell asleep and was disqualified. The winners, according to the Beast Wiki, were Zach King, Quackity, and Rosanna Pansino. However, Rosanna claims the video was rigged to make it seem like Logan Paul won third and she won fourth. Zach King was also noted to have been hiding in the ceiling, which would mean he was supposed to be disqualified. This is what started the entire grudge match. Rosanna spoke up about it, made an apology video, spoke with Mr. Beast on Drama Alert, took the video down, and then started speaking about it again. Rosanna has gone from baking to exclusively Mr. Beast related content recently, with her audience being mostly children that can be jarring. She has posted on everything between Beast games, Lunchly, and any other controversies. But the absolute chaos comes in when you realize that Rosanna and Dogpack collaborated to create the largest allegation across this entire landscape, and thus the main issue of why we're here. Rosanna and Dogpack uploaded a video on October 26, 2024 on her channel, going through 2,000 messages or more of group chats that alleged to be work-related. They falsely labeled an anime mentioned in the chats as pedophilic as well, which sent the anime community after them. The anime in the video is Higa Hero, which has a plot listed below from My Anime List and IMDb, quote, "When regular salaryman Yoshida wakes up one Saturday morning after a long night at the bar, the last thing he expects to see is that his tiny apartment has a new resident, an unfamiliar high school girl. The previous night, despite finally gathering the courage to confess to his boss and longtime crush, Arigoto, Yoshida was rejected. After drowning his sorrows at a bar with his good friend Hashimoto, Yoshida headed back to his home in a drunken stupor, only to run into Sayu Ogiwara, a runaway high schooler. She asked him to let her stay the night, and with his judgment clouded by alcohol, Yoshida complied. Now with his head on straight but no memory of last night's events, Yoshida has Sayu explain how she ended up sleeping in his apartment. Having listened to her story, Yoshida finds himself unable to kick her out, especially after learning she came all the way from Hokkaido. So despite his reservations about sheltering an underage girl, Yoshida allows her to stay and their life together begins. This anime was about an adult guiding a high school girl who had been through multiple instances of selling herself and running away to become better and to finish school and to take care of herself. It was a guardianship kind of case. Thus, the anime community lost their minds when Dogpack 404 incorrectly stated what the anime was about, even when reading the plot. Dogpack had posted on Twitter prior to making this video, eagerly discussing the plan in the video, mentioning that they found potential CSAM material in the chats. Rosanna even A/B tested the thumbnails on YouTube before it was uploaded, and that can be proven in the lyrics video here.
What was the promotion? What was the promotion claim? This was how he promoted it on WestJet's channel. That is far more inappropriate than anything I ever said. And by the way, I have access to thousands of work chats that have not been leaked yet, and I'm gonna start leaking them, and one of them contains alleged CP. Yo, dude, this guy. He's going on other people's channels, multiple platforms, fucking just, trying to hype this up. Hype up this CP drop. He's putting out community posts saying wild shit like this. New Mr. Beast leaks. Spit in flames. New CP. Ro and I got access, Ro is Rosanna, to some of Mr. Beast's internal work chats. We have to sort through them and censor all the naked pictures before leaking them all, but we just went through some of the chats on her channel. And as you're gonna see, this is a conflicting statement to what Dogpack has said before when he's been arguing with other people on Twitter, because this guy has been not having the best 48 hours, okay? He's been arguing with random people on Twitter, going back and forth on whether or not he is guilty of actually downloading the CP or editing it for the sake of the video. And he was claiming, as we're gonna go through the responses, that he didn't. But this is like admission that he censored all the naked pictures, so there was naked pictures that he was censoring there. And you know, if this was a 13-year-old child, what the fuck are you doing? These people should be nowhere near this story. You're YouTubers. Rosanna's a baking YouTuber. What the fuck are you doing handling CSAM child CP material? There's so much hilarious shit here in hindsight that I can now finally fucking show this original thumbnail because it's not a child. But this was their blurring job on the original thumbnail. This is what they thought was good enough. These two small red bars of someone who they thought was 13 years old, that this would be good enough for putting in the thumbnail. This is insane. Like, this is nowhere near enough. And also, there was like apparently clips were glitched that they had to go back and post because at certain points it was just uncensored entirely or something like that. Apparently they had to go back and post and do that. Now this is the updated thumbnail where it's all completely blurred, but this was the first one, which this like minimal conservative type of censorship for someone you think is 18 is nuts. You're probably wondering what even is the screenshot I'm looking at right now. Well, apparently you could look this up to see that Rosanna A/B tested these thumbnail changes. So she was like testing YouTube for which best CP thumbnail would have done best in the algorithm. So YouTube has this feature where you can feed them like different forms and different variations of your thumbnail to see which one would perform the best. And she was doing that with pictures of a 13-year-old of what they thought could be child porn.
Now, before we dig further into this, let me explain something to you real quick, dear viewer. The photo that was considered CSAM was a magazine shoot from when Ivanka Trump was 18, but these two decided they were not going to research further beyond her magazine catalog. However, after the video was uploaded, posts came up on eBay. However, Dogpack claims that he was the one that censored and, quote, tried to reverse image search it. Do you know what you have to do to edit and research the image? Download it. So if this did end up being CSAM, it was not. However, not only did they download it, reverse image search it, and edit it, but they distributed it via video sharing on their platform.
The main problem here is that he could have figured out the information and willfully chose not to. Before admitting to this, a couple hours prior, he was responding to people calling him out on the fact that he actually reacted to uncensored CP and was in possession of some uncensored CP while making the creation for the video. So his full response to people calling him out, being like, hey bro, did you have possession of this? This is what he had to say. Just to clarify, the claim that Ro and I reacted to uncensored CP is a blatant lie. I have the original screen recording of exactly what I showed to Ro. Every picture was sufficiently censored, thus not constituting CP. I downloaded the work chats and deleted the uncensored images as soon as I believed that they could be illegal. Neither Ro or her editors never actually saw the uncensored picture. Okay, so you are just admitting that you have this and you censored it for the video. So you censored it? Because somebody fucking censored this picture that you thought was a 13-year-old. It could have been child porn for your video. Who censored it? Was it you?
Do you see the criminal implications of this? Now back to the chats. Dogpack, in his screenshots on Twitter, showed two different chats. The supposed main chat and a group chat called Everybody Beast Group Chat, which already shows that there's some sketchy stuff going on. Nick Deorio, in his video, goes over how in July 2021, the chat was changed from a not safe for work meme chat to a work chat. Therefore, everything Dogpack and Rosanna showed in that video was prior to July 2021, and thus was an NSFW meme chat. Now, Nick makes note that these chats are suspicious and enforce criminal activity. However, the idea that this was entirely a work chat from its creation is a blatant lie, just like the CSAM material is also not true.
Despite what Rosanna Pansino and Dogpack and several articles have reported, the leaked MrBeast work chat filled with inappropriate messages was actually owned by Chris Tyson. The introductory messages on the date of the Telegram group's creation describe it as an NSFW meme chat, and members of the chat clearly stated it was a non-company meme chat inside the messages that went unreported. And I gotta be honest with you. This caught me off guard. I was sweating a little bit, to be honest, when I saw this. I mean, this message right here, this is our company chat for Telegram of important people that need to share important messages. That's scary. Like, if I didn't already know how this ends, I could totally understand why people would be up my ass about this. It's totally justifiable. So I showed evidence that in June 20th, 2019, Ava being Chris Tyson, created the group chat. I've created this chat for NSFW memes because the other people in the dumpster fire one are normies. They say, that's work stuff. This is a non-company meme chat. So people in the chat reference the fact that it was a meme chat. People, when it was created by Chris Tyson in this MrBeast, by the way, Chris Tyson doesn't have the fucking role. Chris Tyson can't create an official MrBeast chat. That's not something that's possible, but I digress. That's nickel and diming. That's here nor there. Let's go through the allegations that have been levied against me in a couple hours since I streamed. And to do this, we need to locate. So first things first, Rosanna Pansino posted a thread exposing me. Incorrect. Multiple people from these chats, because they're talking about incorrect being that this is not a work group chat. Multiple people from these chats have confirmed they were work chats. Uh-oh, Nick. They discussed work often. I've attached just a few examples with some insurance fraud as well. Honestly, I didn't think the Gooner Gang, I guess they're based off my hat, my Tom's merch, Keemstar and his attack puppies, would band together to defend pedo jokes. Chat, we're defending pedo jokes. We're not providing proper context because you are making fucking unverified CP allegations in your fucking thumbnail. Notice there's no response to that part yet, okay? Side note, I've heard multiple sources that Keemstar is in business with MrBeast in an undisclosed partnership. Care to clear that up, Keem? So we've got like a whole slew of leaked messages. It's gonna take at least 5 minutes to read through, I promise you. This is going somewhere. This is our company chat for Telegram of important people who need to share important messages. So this proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that at some point, this did become a work chat. That's exactly what Ava's saying right here. That is absolutely the case. Have you guys seen the new Lamborghini yacht? This has to be a cool video idea. Well, look at this. This is some big work that's being done in here. Did you see this Lamborghini yacht? What do we got here now? If you come into the studio without a mask, I'll have to take your temperature. We only have rectal thermometers. Shit, dude. Some serious work being done in this shot. That's not a stretch at all. Get that check, bro. Go to the hospital. The insurance company will give you money. They gave me $7K when a guy ran into the back of me. All he did was dent my bumper. I pocketed it. Well, Chris Tyson, you seem to be in a world of trouble with your insurance agency. What's the call time tomorrow? Riddle thingies 10 a.m. Thank you, baby. Yo, we need to film one of these. Imagine just for a bit in the video, I ran a marathon, and there's a picture. It's a guy named Carl. Wow. Hey fellas, please make sure you all install Slack. This one's particularly funny because Dogpack posted this screenshot, right? So like this is supposed to be the one that takes place in MrBeast main, the group chat we're talking about. But Dogpack, in his infinite wisdom, leaked the fact that there's a second group chat called Everybody Beast group chat. Presumably the group chat where like the actual work gets talked about. Funny, I haven't seen any porn in this chat. Where's the porn in the Everybody Beast group chat if these guys are all sex pest deranged weirdos? I'm just curious. How come we're only looking at the small group of like 11 people when there's a second group chat where all the work is being done? Where the message, one of them looks like, hey fellas, please make sure you've installed Slack. And then the other one is, we're gonna be switching over to Slack. And by the way, this is not disclosed in the tweet. It says, wasn't a work chat, and then he linked a picture from a different group chat. What in the fuck, what is this? What, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. What the fuck is this? That is so fucking manipulative to make that the first fucking screenshot. She's in chat. Oh, hello, Rosa. What's going on? Defending pedo memes wasn't on my 2020. Well, you posting what you thought was censored CSAM material was not on mine. But I did expect you to whine like a little bitch because you didn't finish in second place in the MrBeast games. That's what I did see on there. Now, you sit back. This is going to be fun. We're going to get there. But don't worry, it's a slow build. Okay? So he posts a completely different shot. Let's keep going. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to want you to see this. This lottery video is ass cheeks. Watch it on frame. Not because of the editing though. Wow, look at this video, cool. New gaming video is #1 on trending. Gaming channel Slay, killing it.
I bought a real private island. How did Chuck do? There's some heavy work being done in these chats. This is some big stuff. In fact, I did a bit of research from my own. I did a bit of an investigation. I know, this is crazy. Are you ready for this? Chat, are we ready? This is gonna be good. Okay, so there's a file here called oh man, not again. This is the context that this snaky fuck omitted. Do you want to see a legitimate fucking demon? A legitimate fucking clout goblin? I, in my wildest dreams, did not realize that Rosanna was this fucking evil. This is actually fucking insane. This right here is the date, July 25th, 2021. Are you familiar with July 25th, 2021? Well, of course you're not. When Rosanna was marketing her video about the MrBeast company chat logs, she posted 7 uninterrupted minutes going through the company chat logs to see all the inappropriate messages that were sent. In this video, you are taken through February of 2020 all the way, if Twitter will let me show you, through May. Let me just, love Twitter. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Any second now. Any second now. I don't want to touch it, because it's gonna lag. Oh, April. April. Okay, so April, I thought it was May. It appears to be April. So this is from February to April of 2020. You see the timestamp, July 25th, 2021? This stupid bitch published this as a to fucking ruin my credibility? To say that I fucking lied? Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you fucking serious? You snaky fuck. Oh, hold on. By the way, this, just to be clear, pause for 1 second, just for context. Them scrolling through this, the MrBeast employee that currently works there, anonymous of course, because that's what everybody's working with here, so you can't criticize me. The MrBeast employee that gave this to me, it took him 8 seconds. It took him 8 seconds to finish the chat before we get there, so keep in mind, that's why it's so fast. I'm going to slow it down for you. So, from what we're seeing right here, on screen, right now, any questions about videos, any second, there we go. Any questions about videos and other general conversation, but a lot of spam so people won't mute.
What is Bunty King to you, a person?
And then Bailey says, I'll start. I just went to Walmart and only bought a 24-pack of toilet paper. Ava says, feel free to add PAs, but not Steely. And then 3 more people were removed from the group chat. Then Bailey says something very important. No more spicy Chris memes? Chat, if this was a work chat the whole time, and this was dedicated to work, why would someone be asking if Chris would be posting memes anymore? That's peculiar. Why is the chat called MrBeast main, Nick? Well, what is this? You have this screenshot. Why didn't you post it? You snake.
I really like
Rosanna, this makes no sense. You know I have this. Why would you challenge me? I'm shocked. I'm actually fucking shocked that you are this stupid. I might make one for stuff like that. Chris says, I will make another group chat for memes. This one's for work. I'm actually shocked that you were this disingenuous. Ava changed the group picture. Does this picture remind you of anything? It's the picture for the group chat. It was changed to this picture, the official MrBeast group chat picture, on July 25th, 2021. I think I'm missing something. I made the cut. Oops, I hate that guy. Well, okay guys, now back to serious chat. I'm very upset. I'll be on vacation at such and such a day. Ava pinned that she'll be taking vacation from work. A new person named Sean PACT was added to the chat. Uh-oh. 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 You know this little rat bastard? Dogpack writes me, this little guy, okay, this little funny man.
What is Bunty King to you?
This little funny guy sends me this message. Look at this. Look at this. This guy thought he just solved the Rosetta Stone. He was coming here to scout me. Can you believe this, chat? Look at this. He thought he solved the Rosetta Stone. Sorry for the late response, Nick. MrBeast just threw you in front of the bus the same way he did Soggy. How confident are you in the claim that the chat is literally an NSFW meme chat and has been since its creation? You know if the name of the chat ever changed? MrBeast Main sure is a strange name for an NSFW meme chat, isn't it? They changed the name of the group chat on July 25th, 2021, and then proceeded to use it like 4 more times before the group chat died, you disingenuous cocksucker. I added React's review call at 7 tonight. This is some actual work being done. Crazy. There's no porn in here. After it became a work chat, deleted account, pinned a message. Bailey pinned a message. IG. Somebody hit Mark. We're #1 trending in Spanish countries. Wow, this is some fucked up work stuff. English dumbass. Somebody call 911. Carl murdered somebody. Obviously not. Don't do that. I'm just reading off the message. It'll probably be 12 at the front entrance, though this is blurred out. It was blurred out because it has, you'll see right here, I heard we needed vaccine cards, so I didn't want to, like, obviously nobody wants to leak Ava Chris Tyson's information. That's like the only censorship in here. What do we got here? What are we leaving for Team C's? Oh, this is my favorite one. So wait, look at the dates. Track the dates right here. So at some point we go, where is it? Ready? This is actually super funny. So as soon as the July 27th conversation ends, nobody talks in the chat for like 15 fucking days. And they pick back up again on August 10th. And then that's just to like add another account. And then on August 15th, they start talking again, right? August 16th is that. Now we go to August 31st. This is like the most fire active chat ever. And we get this message. This one is fucking fascinating. What day are we leaving for Team C's? Deleted account. Shut the fuck up. And then this is Mr. Beast. Do you know who John Smith is? That's fucking Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast says, and I quote, "Don't message in a random group chat. It probably won't get answered correctly." Rosanna, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why, you think because you got a lot of subscribers, you can just lie? You just lie about me? The way you lied here? You can try to turn around and say that I'm defending fucking pedophiles? You can get in my chat and have the fucking audacity?
Pedo memes, but her and Dogpack did something only a pedophile would do.
You're gonna come in here and you're gonna say I'm fucking defending pedo jokes? That's why I'm fucking here? Really, that's the fucking reason I'm covering this? That's your fucking incentive? That's why you're here? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought. Right in the chat again. I dare you.
What is King to you? A person? Who is Bunty King?
Right in the chat again. You won't. Because you know you look bad. You know you fucking look bad. That's why. Rosanna Pansino, it's a chat of all Mr. Beast employees engaging in pedo memes. Oh, now it's just, it's a group of employees. Oh, we're moving off. We're pivoting back, Rosanna? Rosanna, we're pivoting back? Wow, I thought it was a company chat. You keep saying it's a company chat, Rosanna. I'm so confused. I'm so fucking confused.
Rosanna was as good at hiding during the game as she is at hiding from accountability.
I thought it was these Mr. Beast company work chat logs. What happened there? Company work chat logs? What does that mean? Company work chat logs? Oh, Mr. Beast's company chat logs? Especially for a company that targets children? I'm sorry, what was that? What was that about? You can get mad at the contents of it. That's fine. I think Chris Tyson's pretty bad. But you lied.
What makes the credibility even more smudged, as if it wasn't obliterated already, was that Dogpack shared a leak provided by Salvo Pancakes, a serial doxer, showing a Tea Party group chat made by the commentary community, like they were gonna find anything explicit.
Wait, this guy's just like completely going schizo. Dude, this is the real Dogpack tweet. Dogpack just tweeted out, "If you ever wonder why the same few names always defend Mr. Beast, the Tea Party chat group is effectively Mr. Beast's media wing." And he links full chat leaks of Turkey Tom, Nicholas Deorio, Keemstar, of the Tea Party group chat leaks, which was a commentary Discord group chat that I used to be in for a brief amount of time. It was on my old accounts. But I'm pretty sure Chud is in there, Keemstar's in there, Nick Deorio, Augie, Turkey Tom, which was originally formed for a Tea Party drama that happened back in the Gabby Hanna allegations days. And Salvo Pancakes, was kicked out of the community or whatever for his own weird drama and doxing that he was involved in. He still had access to these group chat leaks, and he leaked the entirety of it publicly. And now Dogpack404 has now retweeted this publicly as a way to discredit the commentary community who's calling him out right now. This guy must be desperate. Dude, this guy's fucking desperate. What? Rix, you know what this demonstrates? He probably was sitting on this for a while too. He kept this link in his back pocket. There's no shot he's using this. Tea Party group chat is effectively Mr. Beast's media wing. This is such a weird framing too, because these group chat Tea Party leaks don't show anything. What was the main leak that came from these DMs? Like, there really wasn't even anything important. Like, what was the big, like, nuke of these DMs? Man. I don't even remember anything being important.
Salvo pancakes.
I think Dude, he just promoted Salvo fucking pancakes. Bro, this guy just fucking promoted it. 300 subscriber Salvo Super Show on Discord. I mean, on YouTube. A video he uploaded 2 weeks ago. He has now joined service with Salvo to go with the commentary community. What the fuck is this crossover, man? What is happening? I didn't even know Salvo re-uploaded this. This is from two weeks ago. So, full group chat leaks Turkitom, Nick Deorio, Keemstar, Moodhar, Augie FC, Willie Mac caught. What even is this video? Can we see? This is an hour and 48 minutes long. Like, let me see like a couple minutes of this. What is this?
Salvo pancakes here, the digital Jesus people are calling me. Let me explain to you what went down.
Digital Jesus.
Today. My Salvo Forever Twitter account got unbanned. I logged into it and I see I have access to a group chat that contains Keemstar, Nicholas Deorio, Augie RFC, Willie Mac, come on Willie, Dumpy, Ziley Gets Real, Kristen Ark, Moodahar, Adam McIntyre,
dude, what the
Paige
fuck
Christie,
is this?
all the usual suspects.
Music.
I go into it, I'm scrolling, screen recording,
This isn't me playing this music in another tab. This is his video, man. This is just...
everything. I have a screen recording of an entire group chat for an entire year. Some of the biggest YouTubers in this space and on the platform, and I have proof of Keemstar taking credit for my deplatforming on YouTube and Twitter. He would...
Yeah, so... the most damning thing about these group chat leaks was like Keemstar being open and honest and Nick being open and honest about reporting this guy down. But they reported him down for doxing. Like, Salvo was openly doxing Nick's phone number on his channel. So, like, yeah, no shit, you're gonna get reported down. Same thing on his Twitter as well. I mean, hey man, I think Salvo could be a funny guy, but he's unhinged. And, you know, he's just, like, sending out people's, like, actual numbers multiple times, doxing them. You're gonna get reported for that, justifiably so. It's not a false report. That's a normal report that is understandable and justified. And that was the most damning thing about these group chat leaks. What is this play from Dogpack? This is an insane move. What does he think is in here?
Ask his lack.
It's like I feel like it's like one. It must be a detractor from the commentary community who already like hates everybody. Like one of the many anti-commentary community people who's been like scorned by one of the members. And they started DMing Dogpack and feeding him lines of like, hey, did you hear about this, bro? This is their group chat getting leaked, and it was them dick-sucking of Keemstar. And I guess that's how he put out this tweet, that's where this comes from, but he just didn't do enough research to even understand who he's promoting here. He's promoting a doxer, and on top of it, that there's not even information here that's telling.
Lackeys to remind him to flag my account. They would send my new Twitter account. He would post it when it would get banned, like I'm some sort of savannah lion from Africa that he kills and stuffs and he puts on his wall as some sort of trophy. And all of them, every single one of these people that are so anti-deplatform, were okay with it, or didn't say anything. A lot of them celebrated it, and a lot of them sat by and did nothing. Now,
yeah. So again, like people are anti-deplatforming when it's unjust. You getting reported for doxing someone's phone number, everyone is consistent on. You won't find anybody of a sizable audience in the commentary community who doesn't have that consistent take. Everyone's consistent that, yeah, if you're doxing people, obviously you should get taken down to the platform. This isn't a hypocritical stance.
I could be a petty man, but I'm just very curious what's everyone's take on all this, on concrete proof of me, Salvo Pancakes, being completely deplatformed by much larger creators. Seems like a big story.
Oh man, this is really the play. This is the level we're at, man. So the rest of this video is just him showing the group chat. When there was nothing pressing or important about this group chat. Like the most it was is like embarrassing DMs of like Nick saying like he wants to quit YouTube because it's not worth it anymore. And because people are starting to attack his like girlfriend or like an ex-girlfriend or some people in his life. At most, like people were making fun of Nick for that, of like some like doomer type of posts in the group chat. That's how like desperate they were for some interesting DMs, because there truly like wasn't anything. There wasn't anything that was telling. What a weird play. Dude, he leaks this video from Salvo with 300 subscribers. So yeah, is there anything else in this video? And that's how just it ends too. That's how it ends. What is this timeline? Dude, we're gonna be seeing Dogpack and Salvo firing up a live stream. Dude, Dogpack's like the new fucking Mr. Sen. He's just gonna completely just get resorted to like an anti-commentary type of obsessor. That's just so bizarre. Dude, he has the Nick curse. Okay. Another live from FraudPack44, cry more dumbass. Yeah, so Wavy was in that, Wavy has like huge numbers too. He has 1 million subs, and he was in that group chat as well, so he's obviously gonna take offense to that, being like, what the fuck? Nick's in the reply, you're goddamn right. Biggest retard on the planet, haha, keep coping, loser. Delete your accounts, little bro, if you're gonna resort to this shit. Dogpack co-signing Salvo Pancakes is almost as bad as Ethan Klein platforming Britbon. Lol, you're actually crashing out. Yeah, this is fucking rough. Blues Dank is even coming in here. Saying log out of Twitter. Keep deflecting instead of taking actually accountability. This changes nothing about how you were wrong about James Warner, the leaked messages. Also, they aren't defending Mr. Beast, they're criticizing your incompetent journalism. I mean, yeah. Like, dude, it's just, this is how desperate for a critique. This is how desperate for an own he has, is that he's now resorting to just like, these are Mr. Beast dick suckers. These are just Mr. Beast defenders. There's just no erasing any nuance. Just hopefully this is a desperate attempt for his fan base to get his fan base to write off anybody's opinion who's in this group chat by writing them off as Mr. Beast dick suckers. Don't pay attention to what these guys are saying, okay? They're on Mr. Beast's cock. That's all this is. That's just the play here.
Rosanna also jumps on Nick Deorio's stream and leaves an unhinged pile of comments, only drowning her credibility even further. Keemstar even had to make a video statement about how the two creators were making a dangerous enemy out of the entire YouTube community.
Dear Dogpack404 and Rosanna, your blind hatred for Mr. Beast has set you up for the biggest L of 2024. You guys, over the last 24 hours, tried to convince the entire internet that Mr. Beast and Chris Tyson in a work chat were sharing CP. That's a heavy allegation. You even came out with a statement that you reported Mr. Beast and Chris Tyson in their work chat to the FBI to investigate the CP. I knew something was wrong right away when Rosanna used the alleged CP in her thumbnail. In fact, she A/B tested it to see which thumbnail would perform the best. And now we're getting updates that it wasn't CP at all. We're getting updates that it wasn't a work chat. It was a meme chat created by Chris Tyson. And also, the anime and how you described the anime got exposed. And you misrepresented what the anime was about, and that's why the entire anime community is coming after you. This whole video and all these allegations were designed to destroy Mr. Beast's career and his reputation online. And they were false. The whole thing. You guys are quickly becoming an enemy of the YouTube community. If you're gonna go and put this false information out and try to label someone as a potential predator or a pedo with false information, you're an enemy to the entire community. I understand, Rosanna, that you have a beef with Mr. Beast. I get it, right? And Dogpack, he's using this as a way to like boost his career. But how many times has Dogpack been forced to walk back statements that he made and apologize and oops, I got this wrong? Rosanna, you made claims that there were broken bones in the Beast games. That turned out to be not true. You guys are playing a fucking dangerous, dangerous game where you could be sued for defamation and slander because you are attempting to ruin this man's reputation and career. But even worse than that, you're becoming the bad guys in our community. This is not good. You owe not just Mr. Beast an apology. You owe all of us an apology. Y'all lied to us.
Lastly, Rosanna Pansino and Dogpack went to the FBI and reported Mr. Beast, falsely incriminating him for his employees sharing CSAM material, which wasn't CSAM. Thus, to anyone that needs to speak up, please, for the love of the gods, don't use these two as your mouthpiece. Regardless of what allegations you believe are true, these are the comprehensive details that you, dear viewer, need to be aware of when digging into this rabbit hole, and how much trash you have to sift through to get to the actual meat and potatoes of the situation. Where do we go from here? We need to look towards people that have more of a research-based backing on this whole situation. I personally prefer the commentary community with people such as Nick Deorio, Larix, Turkey Tom, Tommy C, and many more. They have the most in-depth coverage I could find of the situation to date, and we should, as viewers, make sure to look upon everything with nuance and without bias. Future Kyrie here. Thank you so much for watching, I appreciate it. Please like it if you like it, please dislike it if you dislike it. If there's anything that I missed, please put it in the comments below, and then if my video needs to add those corrections, I will, delete it, re-upload it with the corrections. Just let me know. I tried so hard in post to make sure that I had all the corrections that I needed to for this, but it has taken me 5 whole days since I started the production of this video to get it out. I really hope that I did a decent job being nuanced and unbiased, and I really, really hope that this helps you kind of understand what's going on. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!